So, in my opinion, and I think you guys agree with me, that with Donald Trump as president, it has led to the rise of the forgotten American worker. And let's be honest, the American worker had been forgotten for a long time, hadn't we? The working class had been forgotten, and he led to the American worker. So we could not be more proud as American workers to support this president. And I guarantee you, in 2 days, the American worker is going to unite under one voice and go into those polls and re-elect Donald Trump for 4 more years. Are you with me there? But you know, we don't do all of this just for ourselves, do we? We do it for our kids. We do it for our grandkids. We do it for the next generation. We grew up in a country that had freedom and prosperity. We know that the free market and that freedom that we have leads to the American dream, and we want to leave that to our kids and grandkids, don't we? And it's great to see all of the kids out here. In fact, I tell you what, today I have my own 14-year-old grandson here today. Bradley Austin, where are you? Bradley! Thank you for coming, Bradley. Can you imagine, most 14-year-old kids would not want to be here, but he loves Donald Trump, and Donald Trump loves our kids. So 2 days, remember, when you go into the polls, go in there, tell your friends, your family members, your neighbors to vote red when you get into those polls. Vote red, R-E-D. Remove every Democrat. Remove them all. Every single one. We don't want another Democrat in there. We want the team to help out our president. So thank you all. God bless you all. And let's go 2 more days to elect Donald Trump. Thank you.
Michigan, give a warm welcome to your Republican Party Chairman, Laura Cox.
Hey, Macomb County! I can't hear you. Hey, Macomb County! It's so great to be here. The road to the White House is through Michigan. Are you going to deliver 4 more years? I can't hear you. All right, we all got gloves on, so you got to use your outside voices, right? All right, listen. I'm a suburban mom. How many suburban moms are here that want to elect our great president? All right, listen. I was talking to someone earlier. You know, I've been traveling around the state, talking to folks, making sure that we're getting everybody out to vote. I need you all to talk to your neighbors, your coworkers, even your family members. You need to make sure that they elect Republicans up and down the ballot. You know what connects with them. You know what's important to them. And you need to make sure they get out the vote. It is so important, folks. We have 2 days left. In Macomb County, you deliver for the president. Are you going to deliver again? You absolutely better, because we are counting on you, and that's why he's coming back here today. The guy is going to 14 rallies in 2 days. It's amazing. This president is so strong. The enthusiasm is unbelievable. As I've traveled around the state, we've been in the rain, the cold, the wind, like today, of course. Thousands of people come to hear our great leader. He leads from the front. Are we going to fight for him? We absolutely are. Listen, I was talking to somebody, and they said that Joe Biden and President Obama were up in Flint, right? Boo. I know. And let me just say, look around, and as this place fills in, he had 75 cars there. 75 cars, folks. People are in a car honking their horn, and probably half of those were Trump supporters, right? Because they're honking while they're talking. It was great. So let me tell you something. We need to fight. We need to continue to fight. We cannot rest. The president's not resting. I'm not resting. Can I count on you to not rest? I need you to work hard. We need to make sure we get people like Lisa McClain elected, right? And I don't know about you, but I want a new U.S. Senator, right? Somebody that speaks for me in Washington, D.C. I got a great guy for you. You guys got a great guy, and John James, right? He's a combat veteran, a man of God, a family man. He's a businessman. He's a job creator. He signed both sides of the check. We need to get him elected. Are you going to get him elected? I can't hear you. We need to make sure we take care of the entire Republican ballot. I know it's difficult, but we need to get out there and get the vote out for all these great Republican candidates. And let me remind you about a very important part of the ballot. It's called the nonpartisan portion of the ballot. Listen, we have a power-hungry governor, right? I mean, now she wants me to give my name and phone number to go to a restaurant. Is that flippin' crazy? Talk about Big Brother, right? I mean, it's absolutely an overreach. She's power hungry. The Michigan Supreme Court ruled her actions, her executive orders, unconstitutional. Right? That doesn't happen, people. That's really, really huge. And let me tell you something. We need to make sure that we elect 2 rule of law judges into the Michigan Supreme Court. It's so very important. So part of your homework is to remember for these 2 people, you need to elect these 2 folks. Mary Kelly, right? Mary Kelly, and Brock Schwartzel. Can you guys remember that? Kelly Schwartzel. They're not going to have the R by their name, so it's very important that you remember that, and you tell all your friends and neighbors to vote for them as well, because we don't want the court legislating, do we? And the governor wants that, and we absolutely do not want that, right? All right, so we're going to elect Republicans, right? We're going to re-elect our president, right? How many more years? 4 more years. 4 more years. Thank you for everything you all have done. I appreciate it. Don't give up. This fight is worth fighting. Thank you. We can't wait to see you and celebrate victories all across Michigan. Thank you so much.
Welcome, everybody. We are live from Washington, Michigan for yet another Trump rally. Hello, everybody. I am Brian Glenn alongside Adrian Ferguson in a very chilly and snowy now. The conditions seem to be changing about every 20 minutes, but we're so glad you're joining us. And, Adrian, this is one of 5 stops for this president just today.
Right, yeah, this is the first one today, and the weather is a little bit not in our favor right now, but this would be also my 5th rally, so I'm really excited to be here, you guys, and I'm glad that you're joining us.
Absolutely. We're about 3 election days away from what perhaps is the most important election of our lifetime, and we've been talking about this for several months now, and it seems like there's so much in stake, and we have seen around the country, and matter of fact, some of the speakers behind us talked about the urgency to get out and vote. And of course, a lot of early voting have taken place in many states, holding records for early voting and mail-in voting. And how important is that right now that we get to the polls? We've been talking about this for months, but now the time is to actually vote.
Right, absolutely. It's so important not only that we vote, but my suggestion is if you have the opportunity to do so, vote in person. Make sure that your vote is actually getting where it's supposed to. If that means, taking extra wipes or, wearing your mask just to feel safe, go to the polls in person. It's better to be safe than sorry. And I'm probably going to vote in a few days now. So I'm super excited to do that. And make sure if you have the opportunity to do so, carpool, bring a couple other friends with you. Make sure that we get this win for our president and get him another 4 years.
And we have seen so many organic rallies around the country in places that typically aren't Trump ground, with Southern California being one of them. And a lot of places that perhaps Democrats had a stronghold has now converted to a Republican state. Now, back in 2016, Trump did take the state of Michigan, but only by about 10,000 votes. When you think about that, that is not a lot of margin there, but I think that has increased here. Now, we want to do a shout out to all of our donors out there. Of course, Right Side Broadcasting is brought to you 100% by viewers like you. So thank you. If you want to donate, go to rsbnetwork.com/donate, and every bit counts. And we've seen this over the typical campaign rallies, that every bit of the donation, whether it's $5 or $100, it all goes to a great cause. And of course, we're standing on this podium here in Washington, and we've been on the road for now about 3 weeks, and it seems like it takes a lot of money to get us around the country. You got flights, you got hotels, you got rental cars, and so it's all because of you, our viewers, that we're allowed to do that. Plus, our partner for the day is one of my favorite, iTarget Pro. I love these guides, you know, and if you're a 2A amendment advocate, then I can imagine this would resonate with you. But let's tell our viewers a little bit about iTarget Pro.
Sure. Innocent people are falling victim to crime, intimidation, and forced to fend for themselves because Democrats and the left are successfully defunding the police. When the government can't or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only option. But most of us don't have the time to consistently train, plus ammunition is really expensive. That's why iTarget Pro was created. Using their proprietary app and laser build, you can now train safely in the convenience of your own home with your actual firearm. iTarget comes in all the major calibers, including .223 and .556, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. Today you can get 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10, SAVE10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days of practice. That's the letter itargetpro.com, itargetpro.com. And that offer code is SAVE10, SAVE10.
Yeah, what a great way to also practice your skills, and it makes for a perfect gift as well. Go to itargetpro.com. As we get ready, I think he's set to set the stage around 11 o'clock Detroit time. And of course, this will be one of 5 stops today. He's going to end it later on tonight down in South Florida for that one. But what we've seen the last couple of days is really like something that I've never seen on a presidential campaign trail. Did you notice the video that went viral yesterday as the Biden-Harris team was in Texas on a tour? Well, then as they were going down the highway, of course, they were surrounded by Trump, a caravan of trucks and flags and the whole bit. And of course, Trump ended up tweeting out that saying, "I love Texas." And then I saw Democrats push back from that. Democrats complained that they were being, quote, bullied from this. And my question for you, Adrian, is this. If Biden-Harris supporters can't take a little bit of a rally call from the Republicans, how in the world they're going to lead this country? Because that's not called bullying. That's called, we're cheering on our candidates. And I just feel like it's really ironic how, I'm going to hold you here so the wind doesn't blow them off this podium, folks. But I think it's just kind of ironic how they claim that they were being bullied. And in fact, they were just surrounded by Trump, fans that were in their cars. So obviously they're just enthusiastic as well.
Right, absolutely. Their demonstration was entirely peaceful, nothing illegal, and it just shows the momentum and charisma that we have for our president, and it also displays the immaturity of the left. If they can't handle just a few cars supporting their opponents, how do you think they're going to be able to lead our country, face leaders like in China, our biggest threats, and they're offended by a few cars and a couple of Trump flags? That's unacceptable, and that's just a demonstration of how they're the wrong choice for this country.
Absolutely. We've seen cities around the country prepare for violence. It seems like a hurricane is coming to hit this country by the look of all these cities with boarded up windows, and some stores are even closed starting tomorrow in preparation of the election. And I see one side being blamed for the violence. I've seen a lot of rhetoric on social media and then mainstream media that it is in fact the conservatives that they feel will hit the streets. And Adrian, you and I both know, if you look back in the summer, all the protests, if it's the BLM marches or just the Antifa marches, the ones that are destroying our cities, and quite honestly, are not the conservatives, it's the radical left that's destroying our cities.
Absolutely. I recall when these riots initially started, I was extremely concerned because I lived near a shopping center, and we knew that, you know, these people weren't going out to steal bread to feed their families. They were going to stores to take advantage of these riots, and they're stealing from minority-owned business owners, and in the name of what? Supposedly racial injustice, but we know that they're just trying to feed their pockets, and it's unacceptable, and these riots are still happening, and somehow people are trying to blame the right for these unjustifiable riots. It has to end.
It has to end, and of course, we all know that as Republicans, if we happen to lose this election, we're just going to go to work the next day. It's just another day in the life of a Republican and a conservative, and we're going to fight for conservative values from that point moving on. And I would hope that the party taking over the White House will make everything they can to reach out to bring us all together, and that's what it's all about, bringing everyone together. And I've heard that argument on both sides of the ball there. Okay, let's turn. You're a student, Ohio State University, the Ohio State University. From what I understand, that's exactly how you should pronounce it, right? You've seen a lot of people on college campuses. Academia is highly criticized for converting people's beliefs. As a parent of three, I feel like you can do all you can to instill values in your kids, to bring them up the right way, to love God, love this country. And then the first thing that happens when they go to a university is they get indoctrinated with this hate America, there is no God, and basically deconstruct everything you've built as a parent for your child. I'm going to ask you now, what is it like to be on one of the biggest college campuses in this country, Ohio State, and how many conservative young people do you see on a daily basis supporting this president? I'm going to hang on to you because I really got to feel a fear that you're going to fall off, but what is it like and what do you see on a college campus right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess to start off, I was super privileged to attend Catholic grade school and high school, and we were taught, you know, traditional values and appreciation for our faith and appreciation for our country, and, you know, those values hold strong with me and all of my friends, and then we all went to college, and I just saw all of them turn into these Marxist, socialist, America-hating people, and I was so confused what had happened, and, you know, I witnessed various instances of indoctrination myself. I recall my first year at university, we had to go through these multiple programs and tests and quizzes, basically telling us that we have inherent biases against people of different races, which is completely bogus. However, they're indoctrinating our students and putting these ideas in their heads that they are racist inherently because of their skin color, which is completely unfounded. But these not only are taught as orientation classes, but also in our social sciences, especially in the humanities. I can't tell you how many of my Spanish professors basically professed socialism to be the only way to save this nation, and America was founded on racism, and that we owe everything to people of different races because, you know, they're deemed unequal in this society, which is completely untrue. My mother is an immigrant from Guatemala. Latinos for Trump all the way. However, anyone of any background, any ethnicity, any religion can make it in this country, and the American dream is being essentially trampled on in these universities. They're being run by leftist professors, and we really need to fight back because they're brainwashing the students for the future of this country, and they're certainly going to affect our elections from years to come.
Yeah, Gen Z has really shown up in this election. Hopefully we've got more Gen Zers on the conservative side. And that brings up a great point of what's called critical race theory, and that might be a new term that you're not familiar with, but I'll break it down very basically like this. That critical race theory says that everything in life is racist. It has some type of racist roots to it. Being a white male, I'm racist. Being our school system, racist. Our government, racist. Our business, racist. And they find racism in every aspect of our life. And if you think that the left doesn't embrace that, you're wrong. That's exactly what the radical left does. They embrace critical race theory, and it's very destructive in our schools. It's very destructive in our societies. It is basically goes against the grain of Judeo-Christian values, to be quite honest with you. So I think this election, there's more than just your 2A rights at risk, your freedom of speech, but it's also your freedom of religion, and the fact that and it's amazing that here, pre-show to President Trump taking the stage, they play gospel music. They play absolutely gospel music. Let's step aside and show you a little bit of crowd that's formed here already. Now, obviously, President's set to take the stage around 11, so we're about an hour out. But as you can see, they showed up early. I know that Brad, our camera operator, got here really early for preset, and there was people already lined up. In fact, Some of them look like they probably even camped out at this point. The weather has changed several times. It was quite honestly kind of mild this morning, 49, 50 degrees in some places. The front came through early. The rain came in. It stopped raining, but the wind has picked up, and of course now we've got a little bit of spitting some snow flurries mixed in with some sleet. So, but you know what? It seems like to me, Adrian, people don't care whether it's cold. They care that the president's coming here right now. You want to give some shout outs, you know, it's all about donations. Like we said, RSBNetwork.com/donate. And on a side note, today is my 51st birthday. I'm only saying this to say this. I'm only saying this to say this. I want you to donate in honor of my birthday. How about that? How about, folks? I would love for you guys to listening to us right now, make a donation, and really you're making a donation towards freedom and liberty.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get started on showing a little appreciation towards our donors. And it looks like we received $19.99 from Slack EA, and she used one of our emojis. So thank you so much for that very generous gift. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without you folks. We received $20 from Julie Burr, and she said President Trump and Pence are the hardest working president couple ever. Thank you so much, Julie. We received $5 from Troy Texiera, and he said RSBN is amazing. Snow, rain, wind, nothing stops you guys from being there for us. We truly appreciate your dedication. Thanks for the great coverage. Absolutely, Troy. Yeah, and I'll be the first to tell you, it's really cold out here, but it's all worth it. We received $10 from Join the MAGA Party, and he said at this point there are more Trump supporters at Biden rallies than Biden supporters. Absolutely. And he said, and head over to the Donald.win, the largest online forum for those Trump supporters. Absolutely. We love that you guys are able to communicate with one another and provide a community, because we know that at times you don't have that option in public. So once again, thank you so much for your comment and for your very generous donation. And we received 75 in currency from Alexis Roca, and he used one of our emojis, so thank you so much. I received $5 from Blue Girl Deb, and she said, "Happy birthday, Brian."
That's very nice of me. Thank you.
Deborah on Instagram, and we just received. Let's see. Sorry.
It's amazing when you have gloves and mittens, folks. Sometimes that doesn't work when you hit your phone. So if you had a few pauses, that's what we're trying to do. And plus, we're just trying to stay warm, actually, as well.
All right. We just received $19.99 from Stephen Moore, and he used one of our emojis. So thank you so much, Stephen Moore, for supporting our news organization. We just received $20 from Scott A. Howie, and he said, "November's my birthday month. Another 4 years for President Trump is the only president that I want. What a president that would be." Absolutely. We all want that great gift. And it's also Brian's birthday, so I'm glad that you two both
Thank you very much.
Let's see. And we received $10 from Trevor, and he just said thank you. So absolutely, no, thank you. We would not be able to do all that we do if it weren't for your very generous donations and support. We received $4.98 from Chicana Mommy 40, and she said, "Happy birthday, Brian."
Thank you.
We received $19.99 from Ming Juan, and he said, "Happy birthday, cake emoji, present emoji."
That's awesome. I really appreciate the love, guys, and thanks for the donations, because it's donations like that that allow all of us to travel around the country showing these rallies. And we've had several people come up to us already and say, "Look, man, we are so appreciative that Right Side shows the crowds. You show the overflow that comes in here. You report the narrative that's really happening with Americans." So we are just fired up for that. Thank you very much. Thank you we've got people looking at us right now. Thank you, Right Side. Yes, it's just awesome. We love you too. Yes.
And we just got $5 from Judy Sports. She said, "Switch to blocker from the wind." Yeah, we definitely have to try that out. It's so cold out here, but I appreciate the comment and your very generous gift. And we received $5 from Long Mugen, and he said, "Keep it up with the our chat emojis." So thank you so much, Long. We really, really appreciate all of your support.
There you go.
Thank you so much. And send any questions in the chat that you might have. Some people are asking social media, so I guess I'll put mine out there. Mine's just Adrian Ferguson _. I'm only on Instagram, but feel free to reach out or ask me any questions, and we can chat about politics or anything else. And a lot of people are cheering and calling us out. We love your support in person and online. So
There you go. And if you'd like to follow me as well, it's Brian Glenn TV, BrianGlenn TV, Brian Glenn TV on Facebook. I've got a verification page and I've got a personal page. You can like me, follow me on both if you want, and then on Instagram and Twitter as well. And we just love seeing all of you, and I try to engage as much as I can with you guys offline and obviously on broadcast as well. So I definitely appreciate the support that you guys give us. Now we have some more donations, and we'll get into a couple topics about Joe Biden and the fact that he has been in office and public service for almost half a century. If you think about that for a second, 47 years of service, but now on the 48th year, I believe he's got it all worked out, Adrian. Like on this 48th year, he's going to make it happen. All right, we'll step back out in front here. It seems like the sun is trying to come back out. We had some darker clouds earlier that dropped some sleet and snow on us, but nevertheless, we made it through it. But let's talk about Joe Biden and what you can expect under a Biden-Harris administration. Of course, a lot of people have said it's going to be a Harris-Biden administration, and I wouldn't go too far to say that's probably close to the truth.
Absolutely. She literally said it herself, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Joe Biden, already you can tell he's going to be a puppet, and you know what? I would expect that maybe he might even step down and Harris might become president, and who knows, that's just his assumption, but nonetheless, we will definitely see him being run and puppeteered like just like a socialist dictator, frankly, and that's the way our country is going to be headed under their sort of leadership. So definitely oppose that.
And it's amazing how I see so many Trump haters online say that they're against the machine. Well, the machine is on the left. The machine owns the media. The machine owns Hollywood. The machine owns all the big tech, all the social media companies. So this president, not only has he fought all of that, he's fought the swamp, and he did just what he did. Promises made, promises kept, as far as draining that nasty Washington swamp.
Absolutely, and I really appreciate your comment about, you know, they think they're the resistance. However, you know, they have big tech, they have the colleges, academia, Hollywood, everyone is literally on their side. They never face any opposition. So, you know, there is no bravery in coming out as a Democrat. In fact, they're most of all just sheep and just being indoctrinated like in our colleges and on social media. That's why it's important to be extremely vocal on your social media and in person, and be as enthusiastic as you can for our president, because it's extremely important, and you never know who you might inspire to come with you to the polls or to support our president.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've even seen the lockdowns here in the state of Michigan. Just last night, we went to a sandwich shop, and she said, well, effective Monday, you cannot dine in at the sandwich shop. It's all going to be takeout. And once again, Adrian, we've seen these shutdowns across different states, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, here in Michigan, that the American people are tired of being locked up. Now, granted, we're all taking precautions for COVID, but we must open up our businesses. And I think once again, making these lockdown steps in the restaurant industry and, of course, business is going to hurt the economy.
Absolutely. And I might add that I had a couple experiences as a waitress in the summer when I was waitressing part-time, and you know, some of these rules are just completely nonsensical, and you know, the left claims to be the party of science. However, we know that's not true. We really are. And let me give you an example of some of these rules that just are completely illogical. You know, you wear a mask inside the restaurant, however you sit down and you take the mask off, and apparently then you're immune to COVID, which clearly doesn't work that way whatsoever. And you know, simple things like that show that, you know, any implementation of a law and then you start to follow it, even if it doesn't make sense, it's just going to be a slippery slope, and they're going to implement more rules that are nonsensical and are restrictive of your freedoms, so you have to fight back.
Yeah, absolutely. We've even heard Joe Biden talk about having a national mask mandate, and he was asked during the election debates whether or not you would shut the economy down. And you know, he didn't deny that. Now, he didn't come out and say, I'm going to shut it down, but he never denied it. And I think that's scary as a small business owner out there, millions and millions of small business owners. The last thing you want right now in the economy is to shut it down.
Absolutely. And what's a darn shame is that so many people here, all these people are hardworking men and women, and the American people want to go back to work. They want to be able to freely support their families and put food on the table. They don't want to be dependent on government checks. And yet, that is just one way that the Democrats want to keep people enslaved to their party, enslaved to their ideology, and to keep votes coming in for them. It's unacceptable. The people want to work. We want to fulfill our American dreams, and they're taking away the opportunity from us during these times.
Absolutely. And of course, you're taking a look right now of the overflow crowd, and that's one of the reasons why you guys love us so much here at Right Side, is we show you the crowds, we show you the signs, we show you the people cheering us on, quite honestly, which I think is a great opportunity for us to kind of show back love to you. We've had people wave to us and dance to us, and we certainly appreciate that. You know, one thing I want to mention though, if you live in the state of California right now and you're watching us, your governor is pretty much a dictator. And I think the lockdowns that's happening right now in California, it is going to come back and backfire. And that state, and I mean so boldly to say this, I don't think we're too far away from that state eventually turning red, because enough people have had enough.
And absolutely, I might add that, I have a couple friends in California, and, they've had enough. And either they're voting red or they're literally just leaving the state. I can't mention how many businesses have just up and left. And my friend, Grace Saldana, she was from California and she left. She was tired of the unjust legislation that was always being passed and the constant infringement on their freedoms and liberties. And the people have had enough, and they're either voting red or they're just leaving to other states that are protecting their freedoms.
Absolutely, and of course, my residence is in the state of Texas, and we're one of the ones that opened up the quickest, and I think there's 75% occupancy in restaurants, and it seems like things are opening up, but let's not beat around the bush here. If Biden and Harris take over, those shutdowns are coming back. They're going to start walking everything back, because that's what they do. They promote fear. They rally behind fear. That's what they want to instill in you. They want you to be scared of the COVID virus, which by all means we should all obviously use common sense, but that's their campaign message, is fear. And as we saw, Obama and Biden was in the state of, they were in Flint, I believe, yesterday. And did you hear that earlier? 75 cars showed up for this rally. 75 cars. People sat inside their warm cars, honked their little horns, and showed support. Look today. Look what we're looking at right now. This is, that is where the overflow starts, what you're looking at right now. And there's still a long stream of people to come in here. And you can imagine that the security is tight, so it takes a while to get everybody in this area. But this place will fill up on this very cold and windy day here in Michigan. Of course, we got 16 electoral votes up for grabs in the state, 16 very important electoral votes.
Right, absolutely, and I appreciate how you contrasted, the two groups of people, and 75 cars at a Biden rally, and, heated seats and everything, and oh my goodness, there has to be over perhaps 2,000 already.
I think so. I that's a good estimation right now. But think about it. And I heard the mainstream media talk about this yesterday. The energy that Joe Biden and Barack Obama had is ridiculous. It wasn't energy at all, folks. It was a drive-in movie, is what that was.
Exactly. You could easily be put to sleep at one of his rallies. And let me tell you, all these people, and I can tell you the first one, it is so cold out here. I'm pretty sure it's around like 20 degrees or so. But these people are literally dancing, they're smiling, they're taking pictures, they are anxiously and happily awaiting our president, and they're all talking with each other. There's just so much patriotism and charisma, and you know what? That's because that President Trump has those values himself, and he brings it out in the American people, and that is why we're going to win this election.
Absolutely. Let's also talk about, lately we've seen some people come out and endorse President Trump in the celebrity hip-hop industry. We've seen people come do that. We had Lil Wayne come out and say that he supports Trump, and of course 50 Cent, Ice Cube. And I think what's important to note here is that the pandering that goes on the left and Democrats is so predictable. Their rhetoric is so predictable. I think my 16-year-old daughter could have written half those speeches from Joe Biden. They are so predictable and worn out. And I think that Black America, and I'd love to see young conservative Black America waking up to the Republican Party and realizing this is the party of freedom and liberty. This is the party that unites us all, not the left, not the racist left. And I'm saying racist, and I don't use that word lightly. I think we have raped the word racist in our society. We have called everything racist. There's systemic racism in our country. We have the critical race theory. They'll find every aspect of our life and call it racist. And in fact, a lot of times, they're the ones doing the racist stuff.
Absolutely, and I think it's so important that these, social figures, these rappers are coming out and supporting our president, because the youth are especially susceptible to the lies and deception, in their universities and social media to leftist ideology. And them coming out, especially being a part of minority groups, is extremely powerful, and it shows, the left, they can't deceive everyone, and people are waking up. They're realizing that their policies and the things they've implemented in this country are hurting minority groups and the youth more than helping them. And so it's a huge benefit that they're coming out, and I think they're helping other people wake up as well.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the mainstream media for just a second. A couple of days ago, the GDP reports came out, 33% jump in the GDP, almost a record jump in the GDP. And the mainstream media was silent on this. And it's not surprising, though, because even when the stock market was at an all-time high coming off last year, that was downplayed, saying that the stock market and the rising economy didn't resonate with the average American. Well, I want to disagree on that, because a lot of hardworking people, especially here in the state of Michigan, we have 401ks, we have savings, we have our housing values have gone up, the economy has boomed. That helps everybody. And when big business wins, the common working person wins as well.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's just so disappointing how blatantly deceitful and untruthful the left is. So many times at the debates between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence and the president and Joe Biden, they lie straight through the teeth, and they'll so blatantly deny the achievements and employment rate increases between now and when President Trump was elected. And he's done so much for our community, and they won't accept it. They will not give him the credit that he certainly deserves.
Absolutely. And they don't call him out when he makes mistakes. And as you imagine, you can remember in the debates, he talked about fracking and denied that he wouldn't stop fracking. But then yet there's video of him numerous times saying that he was going to ban fracking. It's the flip-flop on issues like that that makes consumers and it makes Wall Street, and quite honestly, nervous with what would happen under a Biden-Harris administration. Now, as a young person, you're a couple years away from getting out in the workforce. Does that scare you to think that you could have an administration that is not pro-business, that could start shutting businesses down, adding more regulations, pushing more jobs out of this country?
Absolutely. I have multiple friends and neighbors that are business owners themselves, and anyone with a basic understanding of the notion of economics knows that if you raise the minimum wage, you're going to have to lay off workers. And President Trump literally said that at the second debate with Joe Biden, trying to explain to him that raising or having a fixed minimum wage is going to hurt so many people. So many people will be fired and they will be unemployed, and yet they don't care. They don't care about the economic downturn that will arise, and that's why Trump is so pro-business, and he will continue to implement pro-business policies for the next 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're just now joining us, welcome. We are live in Washington, Michigan for one of 5 Trump rallies today. He's in Michigan, he's in Iowa, he's in North Carolina, he's in Florida, he is everywhere. And of course, we've only got a couple more days left until one of the most important elections of our lifetime. I am Brian Glenn. This is Adrian Ferguson, and we're here, and it's cold, and it's windy, but there's no better place we'd rather be right now than in front of you. We want to thank all of our viewers for watching, because of donations from you, all of this is possible.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you guys again for joining us. You can reach out to me on social media. I'm Adrian Ferguson _ ADrienneFerguson _ on Instagram. And like Brian just said, we would not be able to be here if it weren't for your generous support. And we appreciate all that you do for us. And I might add that if you're just joining us, it's Brian's birthday, so send him a birthday chat and perhaps even a donation to our organization to show your gratitude for him and our organization. So
You're
thank you.
Very, very sweet. Yes, I turned 51, and for the record, I think Brick Suit and myself are the oldest correspondents on this lovely team. And you know what? I love it. I embrace my age. I feel like I'm 14. I probably act like I'm 12. But anyway, thank you very much. And hey, if you want to give me a birthday gift, do it through the donations. We would love that. I would take that as a personal gift if you just donate to Right Side. Let's step away and let you look at some of the crowd behind us. These people love us. These people are here. These people are waiting. These people brave these cold temperatures. But Adrian, let's just be honest, all right, just for a second. Me and you, these people are used to cold weather. We're not.
Right. You know, and you know, that's fine. And these people are sticking through it. And
I saw a guy earlier in shorts. You remember that driving in?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. You know what? And that, you know, that's what Trump does. He'll inspire people, you know, through snow, rain, whatever. They'll come out to support our president, and even in shorts, they'll come out.
You know, do it. And you know what? This is a rowdy crowd. We saw earlier a lot of chants. I anticipate that today. You know, we've seen the last couple of rallies, it seemed like they were different. Of course, that one was kind of a private 250-person riot. That was not a rally, rather. This one's wide open. I anticipate good energy from the president.
Absolutely, yes. It's so cool out here, and yeah, the people are already so hyped up. They're cheering. A lot of folks are giving us a lot of support for RSBN, and they're anxiously awaiting our president, and they're watching these videos that are being provided for them, and they love it. They keep reporting, and I can tell this is going to be a great crowd. This is going to be a great rally.
Let's go into some of the chats here and some of the donations. We'll go into that. I'm going to let Adrian, your hands are probably not as frozen as mine, or maybe they are, I don't know. Let's see if you can read off some of those.
Sure. So we just got a notification that Jeremy Garbers just became a Lincoln Club member, so thank you for joining our club. We just received $40 from Dong Velo, and he said, love you guys out there in the cold from a Michigander here. So great that you were able to join us from your home state, and thank you so much for that very, very generous gift. That really goes a long ways with us here at RSBN, and it really supports us, so thank you so much. We received $4.99 from Mrs. Louise Braubach, so thank you so much, Louise, for supporting our organization. We really appreciate it. And we received $4.99 from Julie Hamilton, and she said happy birthday to Brian.
Thank you.
And we received $5 from Tony 7777M. So thank you so much, Tony, for supporting our organization. We would not be able to bring all this content to you if it weren't for your very generous gifts. And thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it.
There you go. And let's also talk about our partner, iTarget Pro, because our partner of the day is so crucial to getting all this to you as well. And you know what? If you're a 2A advocate, I can't think of a better gift this holiday season is to get iTarget Pro.
Right, absolutely. Innocent people are falling victim to crime, intimidation, and are forced to fend for themselves because Democrats and left are successfully defending the police. When the government can't or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only option. But most of us don't have the time to consistently train, and ammo is really expensive. That's why iTarget Pro was invented. Using their proprietary app and laser bullet, you can now train safely in the convenience of your own home with your actual firearm. iTarget comes in all the major calibers, including .223 and .556, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. Today, you can get 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10, SAVE10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days of practice. That's later iTargetPro.com, iTargetPro.com, offer code SAVE10. Thank you.
Thank you. And we, of course, we appreciate you supporting our partners. It's very important. I want to step back in here just for a second and talk about, and this is one thing I've brought up just about on every rally that I've covered, and I want to be perfectly clear on this. Our country is founded on Judeo-Christian values. We're one of the few countries in the world, actually, that has founded and formed their government around Judeo-Christian values, and how important it is to keep it like that. Now, back in 2016, about 30 million Christians did not vote in that election for whatever reason. Of course, Donald Trump, I like to say, kicked over the apple cart of Washington politics at that time. A lot of people didn't like his style. He was abrasive. He's a business guy. He's a gunslinger in a way. And that, I think, pushed a lot of Christians away. But we can now say that Donald Trump is the most pro-life president in U.S. history. He has led the March for Life. He has been pro-life. We've done stuff like relocating the embassy in Jerusalem. He has done things that no other president has done. So I'm making a call right now to the church. as we sit here on this very cold Sunday, it's time to rise up. It's time to vote for policies over personalities. And I don't know how many people you know in your life that have quite honestly have told you, well, I want to vote for him, but I can't get over his tweets, or I can't get over his personality. But you and I can both agree that his policies are pro-America and pro-religious and honor God. I mean, we've heard gospel tunes played before this rally.
Yeah, absolutely. And no one's going to stand up here and tell you that, Trump is Mother Teresa. However, to my Christian people who are deciding between, Joe Biden or Trump, look what he's done for our country. Look what he's done for, innocent children that are being killed in the womb. He's protecting them. And, you may have doubts. I understand that. But, like in the Bible said, and Christ said, look, who among you are without sin? No one. And so I think it's really important to realize that he's completely human and, he isn't perfect. However, he's doing amazing things for this country with our economy, our education, our freedoms. So I definitely think that you should go out to vote for our president and support him because he's going to change the trajectory for the next 4 years. And if you end up going with the other option, we might just become the next Venezuela.
Absolutely. And of course, he will say numerous times a day, "In God we trust." It's on our currency. It's in the values of our country. In God we trust, and I think it's important for we all keep that as well. There's a couple of narratives that's out there about him being racist, and of course we've talked a little bit about the endorsement from the African American community, the things he's done for that as well. But one of the things that really makes me mad is when they talk about kids in cages, that Trump put kids in cages at the border. And we all know, and there's video and the footage that they use, that was under the Obama administration. Obama and Biden built those cages that those kids were in.
Absolutely. And President Trump asked Joe Biden, who built those cages, Joe? Who built the cages? No response at the debate. And one thing I really appreciate is a few people here actually have a couple t-shirts and sweatshirts with that question, who built the cages? And we all know the answer, but the left refuses to accept that, their favorite superhero, Barack Obama, he built those cages and he deported more illegal aliens than Trump so far. So, the truth always disagrees with everything that they stand for. And I might add that, the left calls everything racist. So, actual racist actions are minimized and they're not getting, the justice and, actual white supremacists, they get, a slap on the wrist because, your everyday Trump supporter, your American-loving Trump supporter is called a racist. And, I'm being taught at university that if you're white, you're inherently racist. You have inherent biases against other races. So basically, everyone is racist if you're not a minority. And that's completely unacceptable and illogical. And it just shows you how unhinged the left has become so far.
Yeah. The identity politics that is involved into the Democratic playbook, that is what they do, is personal attacks. And we talked about this last night, how they can't debate you on facts. They just attack your character. Your character assassinations is what it's all about. And I think when you stand up to the radical left with facts, they don't want facts. They don't want things that can actually disprove what they believe, but they'll go after character attacks.
Absolutely. And, I was mentioning to Brian earlier, I'll have discussions with people about, policy, and then almost instantaneously when they don't like what I'm saying and I'm providing them data and statistics and facts, they attack my character. And, one discussion I had earlier with one of my ex-friends, she immediately attacked my character and my ethics, and I think it's beyond hypocritical that the left, the party that supports killing innocent children up until birth, is giving me a lecture on morality and ethics. It's completely hypocritical, but it's not surprising. And you know what? That's why we got to stick with Trump. He tells things like they are, and so do his supporters. We accept facts, we accept science, and we are the party of science, for sure.
And let's talk about the efforts to back the blue. And of course, defund the police is a major narrative. Let me step aside here and let Brad swing the camera over. Look more of the overflow coming in. But that is one of the messages we're going to hear a lot about today, is to back the blue. We support our police, we support our military, we support law and order, things that you would think are very basic, and what this country is made about is law and order. Now, this is something that I don't care what city you live in. Think about this. when you're under a crisis and there's an emergency, who are you going to call? Who are you going to call? Who's going to be there that's going to risk their life to save yours? That's the men and women of our law enforcement. I think it's very important that we back the blue, and that's exactly, obviously, what President Trump was all about. You want to jump back in on these donation chats?
Absolutely, yeah. We just received $50 from Mythbuster. So thank you so much, Mythbuster, for donating to our news organization. It looks like I'm having a little bit of trouble loading those donations. However, I'll keep reading some of your comments. Charles Clarinara said Trump was a class above the rest. Absolutely. There's so many people are saying, I love Trump. Biden is owned by China. Absolutely. Let's see. We see that Communist China loves Biden. Absolutely. We receive any messages saying God bless us. Thank you so much. We appreciate all your prayers. And Trump 2020, get it done. All right, I'm going to hand it back to Brian while I just get
Thank you. Yeah, so we're gonna scroll through some of those and more. And also, one thing that we saw, or we heard rather, a couple of rallies ago, was Hunter Biden's laptop, and Trump will refer to it as the laptop from hell, and he will bring it up. Now, he doesn't stay on it very long, because I don't think that's a narrative that he wants to push, but he will bring it up. He will bring in the corruption, the Joe Biden China connection. He brings that up several times during his rallies. And it's important to know that, Biden has been accused of selling influence through the back door to China, and that China will own everything. And of course, Trump has been very open that he is going to fight China, and he's going to let them take over as far as some of the trade agreements that we've kind of rewritten, but he's also going to let them interfere with our election. And we've seen it happen on the social media side, tech companies that have Chinese influence. Absolutely.
Trump is not afraid from a fight, and he will do whatever it takes to save American jobs and protect our economy, even if that means standing up to China. And we mentioned earlier how offended Biden and Harris were just from a couple trucks surrounding them and following them outside of Texas. Do you think they're going to be strong enough, have the willpower to fight against China? Absolutely not. And so Trump is certainly the man for the job. And it looks like I got a couple more notifications from our donors. So we just received $4.99 from Shirley17. So thank you so much, Shirley, for supporting us. We really appreciate your donation. We got $5 from John Dice I. So thank you so much for supporting us and for that very generous gift. We received $20.20 from Jerry Carpinello Jr. He said, thank you for all you do. You set a higher standard for media that should be followed. For a young organization with the number of followers proves this. Trump 2020, absolutely. We're so proud that we have a large fan base and to be the only news organization that provides live coverage of all of our rallies, and we try our very best to be at every single one to provide this content for you folks. So yeah, you're right. We're a bit of a small business, and we're completely funded by our donors. So it's so important that we receive your support, and we're extremely grateful for your support, because it's a little difficult because we are of smaller stature. And it looks like we received €5 from 5Cody701. So thank you so much. We love that we are receiving international support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We received $5 from Marion Clough, and she said, happy birthday, Brian.
Very nice of you. Thank you.
Yeah, POTUS wins in 50 state landslide. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. We received $10 from JL Junior 99, and she said, here is $10. Let's buy the beautiful lady a heavier coat. That's
good point.
That's my fault. I definitely have a coat. I wasn't really anticipating how cold it'd be, but I'll definitely be better prepared for the next rally. So I appreciate your kind comment. It looks like Rise Again Racing just became a Lincoln Club member, so welcome. And we just received $250 in, I think, Hong Kong currency. I may be incorrect, but in Jesus' name, Trump 4 more years. So thank you so much for supporting us from abroad. And we just received $10 from Larry Cosgrove, and he said Trump 2020 from Cheryl and Larry. Thanks so much, Larry, for supporting us. We really appreciate it. We hope you guys have a great day. And we received $4.99 from Stealth Drone Tech for Truth in America. Bless you guys. Great work, Adrian. Thank you so much. We're doing our very best out here, especially in this very cold weather. And I'll keep reading off from our donations, and if you folks have any questions or comments, I'd love to read them off as well. We received a lot of comments saying Michigan for Trump. I wonder if you folks are here. This is such a great crowd, and you know what? I think this is just part of the Michigan community. They're super welcoming and charismatic, and you know, that's hard for me to say as an Ohio State Buckeye.
That's hard for you to say, isn't it?
Right, it's hard to say, but it's certainly true, and I'm glad to see it, that our rival is certainly here supporting our president so charismatically and so patriotically. And
you know, it's interesting. One of the questions I get asked the most, people would text me and say, so what do you think? Do you think he's going to win? Do you think he's got the energy? Do you think he's got the support? I just say, look around right now. Look at who's standing out here in sub-freezing temperatures, the wind blowing out of the northwest at like 35 to 40 miles an hour at times. You tell me, do you think the president has what it takes to win? You tell me. Do you think people want to show up and see this president? You tell me. Do you think he's done more for the American people in 47 months than Joe Biden's done in 47 years? You tell me. You tell me what's going to happen on November 3rd. Well, I can tell you what's going to happen. He will get reelected 4 more years. I predicted this about 9 months ago. We've seen what he's done. We've seen the accomplishments he's done. We've seen how he's reached out across the table and got so much stuff done on foreign policy. And we haven't even talked about that yet. If I was to talk about Joe Biden's foreign policy, it's awful. It's awful. Just about everything he has touched foreign policy-wise has been a disaster. But all of a sudden, on year 48 of his political career, he's going to tell us exactly what he wants to do. Now, if you look at what President Trump has done on foreign policy, it is amazing. He has done historic peace treaty deals. I mean, you're talking about things that we're told would never happen, and it did. And he'll talk about it today and how he just said he reached out and made it happen and reached across the table and gets these leaders on the phone. We thought North Korea a couple of years ago was going to start chucking nuclear bombs at us. That's not the case. They're no longer a threat. Look at ISIS. ISIS is no longer a threat. So let's just be perfectly clear. Who is the better president when it comes in terms of foreign policy on this? I think you got to get the personality hang-ups aside, folks. I think that's what prevents you from voting for this president. Let's just be quite honest with you. Right now, there's three groups of people right now. You've got Trump supporters who will walk over glass for this president. You've got Biden-Harris supporters, which I like to call ill-informed people that don't quite know the issues, but they get caught up in emotions. And you got the undecided voters right now. That's really what these rallies are all about, is try to get the undecided voters, because if we can resonate a little bit of common sense to these people and explain to them how their life has been enriched by this president, that's what gets the vote.
Right, absolutely. And I think it really does depend on those independent voters. I think they are going to turn right this year. And if they've been watching the debates, they understand that Biden is completely senile. He's not in his right mind. He's not fit to run this country, and that is more than obvious. And I'm glad that he's showed up to those debates to demonstrate his lack of intellect, his lack of mindset to serve this country and to protect our freedoms. So you're right, but I think they're definitely going to swing for Trump this year.
Absolutely. If you look at some of the early voting numbers, it's historic records in many states coming out. I think we had over 80 million early voting numbers, either in person or mail-in voting. And I noticed that one of the states, I'm looking over my notes right here, I'm not quite remembering which, I think it's North Carolina, that actually votes can be counted 9 days after the election. I don't know how you hold a legitimate election when votes can just pour in afterwards. I mean, I think the deadline for one of those states was October 31st to request your mail-in ballot. Well, you tell me how you can get something in the mail on the 31st and have it mailed back by the 3rd. I just don't see it's possible. But that's where, when it opens up to that type of wiggle room, I think that's what, as a conservative, that's what worries me the most, is what can be done after the election is over and the votes are counted. All these additional ballots they so-called find after the election.
Exactly. Who knows what's going on in those rooms where they're counting those ballots, and what happens even before. Who is who is actually signing off those ballots and mailing them in, and how many people are sending them in. And so it's a true concern, and that's why I suggest that you folks all go out to vote in person to make sure that your vote is secured, and it's your vote, and it's for who you actually want, and that it's for Trump.
Absolutely. The 16 electoral votes are up for grab here in the state of Michigan. Now, back in 2016, Trump won the state, but about 10,000 votes, so it wasn't a big margin. So he's hoping to make that up. Now, we're just north of Detroit, which is typically a very Democratic county around here, but I really feel like that is swinging towards Republicans just by the turnout today.
Absolutely, and it was earlier mentioned by some of the speakers that there are a lot of auto workers here, coal workers here, and these are industries that Joe Biden's policies will completely obliterate and lead to unemployment in these industries. And so, of course, their support is growing. Of course, these people support our president because he's not only protecting their jobs, he's allowing them to put food on the table for their families, and he's allowing them to go back to work. And that's something that Joe Biden has clearly stated he will keep these businesses shut down, and he's going to harm the economy, and he's not going to let people get back to work.
Absolutely. And of course, he's also talked about immigration here, about immigration reform, how he obviously build the wall. It was something he promised to do during the campaign. That's exactly what he's done so far. I think nearly 400 miles, I think, of wall have been built. He'll talk about the construction of the wall today and how it's built with the best of quality of materials. And that's important to a lot of Americans, to control illegal immigration. Illegal immigration actually hurts legal immigration. And he's always talked about there's some bad guys coming in this country, and you've got to make sure the bad ones don't get in, and the hardworking people that want to come here for freedom and liberty, that they get in the right way.
Absolutely. And I just add, I think I mentioned earlier, my mother's an immigrant from Guatemala.
Yes, she is.
Is a legal immigrant. And, illegal immigration harms legal immigration because we're having this intake of illegals, and that would just lessen the amount of people we can take legally. And it is so important that we understand the issue of sex trafficking that is happening at the border. 80% of women and young girls will be sexually assaulted on their journey afoot to the United States from Central and South America. And people don't understand that. The left knows that, but they won't address it because they want these caravans that are coming to the United States to disappear as, little girls and mothers. You know what? No, these are grown men who are taking advantage of these women who are with them too, and they're causing a lot of damage to this country. We appreciate immigrants. We love what they do for this country. They're hardworking, but we need to have them come here legally for them to have the best opportunity at achieving the American dream. Because when you come here illegally, so many opportunities are diminished for you. And it's so important that we support legal immigration, and that's why it's so important that we support President Trump, because he's going to protect immigrants, legal immigrants, and he's going to protect American jobs at the same time.
Amen to that. And of course, the state of California has dealt with that. And it seems like Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and all of the Democrats have pretty much opened up the doors in California. And you see a lot of social media posts about illegal aliens almost having more rights than citizens. It doesn't even seem right.
Absolutely. So many illegal immigrants are receiving government funding, and it's so sad that we have American war heroes that are struggling to support themselves. So many of them I'll see literally on the streets begging for money. And these people need to be put on a pedestal because they have served our nation. They have fought to secure our freedoms. And we're just handing out checks like candy to people who have come in here illegally. We need legal immigration. To be clear, we appreciate immigration if it's legal. If not, then we don't support it. It hurts our economy. It hurts the American way of living. And we need to support our veterans as well, and those who have supported our country by fighting for us. And we need to make sure that when they come back home, they have a proper lifestyle, proper living, because they fought for us.
There you go. If you're just now joining us, welcome. I am Brian Glenn. She is Adrian Ferguson, and we are in Washington, Michigan. There you go. You had to look that up on the Washington, Michigan. But we are here. It's very cold and windy. The snow just started coming down once again. Let's back away and show you the crowd that has shown up already for this president. And a lot of these people, quite honestly, Adrian, have been waiting since like 3, 4 in the morning when this cold front came by and dumped a bunch of rain on us. But the rain has stopped, but there's some sleet and a little light snow coming down right now. It's the wind's out of the northwest at about 25 to 30, and some gusts are called for later up to about 45 miles an hour. But you can see the fans out there chanting, being rowdy. I think, look, if you're raised in this part of the country, this is probably just another day, right?
Absolutely. You know, there's so much patriotism, and you know, people demonstrate that in different ways, and all these people are cheering patriotic cheers, and you know, they're super excited. And you know, despite the extremely cold weather, that doesn't hinder them, that doesn't hinder their attitude. They are extremely grateful to be here, they're extremely excited, and they are just patiently and happily awaiting to see our president.
Absolutely. Of course, this is one of 5 stops for the president today. Moves on to Iowa, North Carolina, and then ends it up in Georgia, and then ends the day in Florida, down in Miami. So at least he ends it on a warm note. But on a side note, Florida, the last 25 years, if the state has gone to Florida, the president has won. So whoever wins Florida, well, they win the presidency. And that's very important that the president keeps Florida. And it's very important that he keeps North Carolina, and gets North Carolina red, and keeps Michigan red as well. We've got a lot of work to do in states like Oregon, Washington, California, Colorado, New Mexico. We've got some groundwork to do in those states, but I think as every year goes by and people see the accomplishments from this president, it'll eventually change over. I'm very optimistic to that.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And you know, I might add, a couple people are asking in the chat how many people there are, and my guess is maybe around like 3,000, 4,000 so far. But there's so many people here, and you know, they woke up super early to support our president, and you know, this crowd just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I might add that I worked the Minnesota rally earlier this week, and it was such a shame that all of these people, so many people wanted to come see here and hear our president speak. However, the governor set a cap on the number of attendees, and it could only be 250 people, and yet thousands and thousands of people still came and supported the president, even though they weren't granted access. They stood on the outskirts and they cheered for our president, and our president was so upset. And you know, it's just an example of how Democrats are limiting our freedoms and our freedom of speech. But the president came off of Air Force One, and he visited those people that were denied access first, because he cares about the American people. He cares about the average voter, and he wanted to show his support, his gratitude for the support they give him. And then after supporting those people that were denied access, he went back to speak to the group. And so I'm so glad that there wasn't a restriction on the number of attendees here, and I'm so glad to see all these people. And you know, people are continually shouting RSBN and waving, and they're just showing our appreciation and just support. So it's so great, and I'm gonna head to the chat now and see what's been going on. It looks like we received $10 from Scott A. Howie, and he said, Sleepy Joe will fall asleep in the basement on election night. Probably. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised. We received 50 euros from Jay-Z Bridge, and she said, please vote USA from Holland. Go vote. My family's and parents died in Iraq under Biden Obama. People wake up, don't watch the fake news. Absolutely. We're so glad that we are definitely not a fake news organization. We broadcast and share with you only the truth, the words straight from President Donald Trump's mouth. And you know, we're a free thinking organization, and we definitely don't succumb to any leftist agenda whatsoever. And we just received $25 from Rick De La Rosa, and he said Ohio loves President Trump. I'd like to get a shout out to the Bucknut collectible patrons who not only support Ohio State store, but President Trump. Go Bucks and Trump 2020. Absolutely, I'm so glad to have received an Ohio comment. I'm from Ohio. I'm from Columbus, and I go to Ohio State. And so go Buckeyes. So sorry, that's like forbidden to say here, but thank you so much for your comment. I love it. Love Ohio, and thank you so much for your very generous gift. And we just received note that Billions of Souls for Jesus just donated $5, and he's using our emojis, so thank you so much for that very generous gift. And we received $20.45 from Sustainable Salt Mine, and he said, let's finish this. Thank you, RSBN, from the Donald.Win. We don't need celebrity endorsements like the Democrats, exactly. And it is just almost comical how much pandering is just portrayed from the left and all these leftist celebrities. And you know what? They'll go to all these award shows and they'll get up on stage and they'll pander like no other, and they'll talk down to the average American voter like they understand the struggles, and they'll talk about climate change while flying all across the country in their private jets, and they'll talk about supporting a minimum wage and hating capitalism while making millions and millions of dollars based on capitalist values. And these people, they don't have a clue what's going on. They don't have a clue what the average American voter goes through. They need to stop speaking for all of us because they don't understand all of us. We definitely want to come to their leftist radical ideologies. They honestly should just not say anything at all because they're clearly clueless and they don't represent all of us, and not at all.
Absolutely, and of course we'll step out back in front of you guys. You know, you've seen the latest celebrities come out, and you know what? When you see a celebrity step out and show their support for our president, to show Judeo-Christian values, it just makes you appreciate them so much more. Because a lot of times when someone in Hollywood or the music industry comes out to support a conservative, it's almost like the kiss of death for their career, because it goes against the grain of what the thought should be there. So we're very fortunate to have people come out and be a support of the president, especially in the hip-hop community that resonates so deeply with African Americans, and it's great to have their support.
Absolutely, and I believe Chris Pratt, one of my favorite actors, just supported Christian values, not even blatantly supporting the president, although I'm pretty sure he does. And he received so much hate from the left. People were flooding him with hateful comments and on his Instagram and social media, and it was completely despicable. You know, the party that supposedly claims that they're full of love and acceptance and diversity, you know, completely oppose diversity of thought, completely oppose anyone that disagrees with them, and will, it ultimately tries so hard to destroy any career if they don't follow their political agenda. And I just wanted to shout out Kimberly Boldier, who just donated $200 to our organization. And
that is awesome.
Thank you so much. And she said, thank you, Trump and RSBN. California loves Trump. We love America and love all Americans. We received $10 from Victoria Pendleton. She said, you make me want a cup of hot chocolate. Well, we all could use some hot chocolate right now, let me tell you that. We received $17.70 from 2 Acre and Bear, and he said, keep crushing legends. Absolutely, we love what we do. Thank you so much for your gift. We received $9.99 from Leon Gill, and she said, law enforcement loves Trump. Absolutely, we love Trump too. Thank you so much for your gift. We received $19.99 from Marcus G. Joan. So thank you so much, Marcus, for supporting our organization and all that we do. We received $20 from Jerky, and he said, Trump legacy till 2052. John, Eric, Melania, Tiffany, Ivanka Barron, all of the family. We hope we receive a legacy from them. We receive $9.99 from Truth for Life. So thank you so much for that very generous gift. I do need a bigger code. I received $5 from Serdro Lopez, Trump 2020, RSBN 2020. Absolutely. And I love our Latinos for Trump. So keep supporting us and our president. We received $5 from Devil Dog, and he said, happy birthday to Brian.
Thank you very much.
And we received $5 from Justme77. He said, thank you, RSBN. You guys rule. Trump 2020, red tsunami, please get out and vote no matter what. No matter where you're from, red state, blue state, vote. Absolutely. It's so vital that you vote this election.
Let's talk about this for a second. If you've seen, I know there's a lot of anticipation of this election, and we've seen cities start to board up like some hurricane is going to hit America. That hurricane is called the violence from the left. If it doesn't go their way, we saw that in we've seen that for 4 years. The Democrats have tried to undo this election for 4 years, and if we think for one moment that they're going to take another Trump victory sitting down, that's foolish. So I just encourage everybody to be brave, be courageous, go to those polls, don't let any intimidation happen. And of course, I'm encouraging all the conservatives right now, please be on your best behavior. I know emotions will run high, but I'm just calling for everyone to please be civil, please be peaceful, please take this with class, go to the polls, be a gentleman, all right, guys? I mean, we don't need any anarchists, we don't need anybody, troublemakers, we don't need violence, we need peace, and that's what's going to make it a peaceful transition into power if we show class and dignity and respect to others.
Absolutely, and I might add that everyone here is certainly peaceful protesting, and the people like to portray us as these violent white supremacists, but not at all. We're just a bunch of freedom-loving, America-loving patriots, and no one here is violent. Not like all these Black Lives Matter protests literally destroying our country, local businesses, and livelihoods that have taken years to build up, just completely shattered and demolished. Absolutely, that will never ever take place here, because we support law and order, and so do the many patriots who are supporting our president. They support law and order, and there will always be law and order at these Trump rallies every single time.
Well, and that leads me to our next topic of Black Lives Matter. And of course, we all can agree that every life matters, and Black lives do matter. It's just the Marxist socialist group that is BLM Incorporated. That is what is very destructive to our society, and we saw that in the summertime. We saw a lot of marches, and if you want to follow the money on Black Lives Matter, you'll follow the money, and the money leads to white globalist leftists that really don't have the best intentions for African Americans. And I just want to be perfectly clear that every life is precious. We are made in the eyes of the Lord. We are all equal. Black Lives Matter. BLM, the movement, is Marxist, and it needs to be shut down. And you know what? If you're in a church right now, the wokeness that has happened in the American church is very destructive. We've got pastors around the country that are embracing this BLM movement. We've got people that they're more concerned about being woke than speaking the truth of the Bible. So I just encourage you, if your pastor at your church is in this, if they're saying Black Lives Matter and they're supporting this Marxist group, you need to find yourself another church. And that's my plan. I'm getting off my soapbox right now, but I think it's very important that we mention it, because they're a group that's pushing a false narrative.
Absolutely, and people don't understand that just because an organization is called one thing, it doesn't mean that they can act the complete opposite, which is exactly what you see with this organization. First of all, where's the money going? People obviously care about Black lives. However, what have they done for the Black community? Absolutely nothing. If anything, they've harmed them more than supported them by destroying their businesses, their livelihoods. And if you see with Donald Trump, he's actually supported the Black community. He's uplifted them. He's created more jobs for them in decades. And he's done so much with criminal justice reform. He's set so many people free that have been unjustly convicted. So, look at the policies. Don't look at all these platitudes, all these cute little slogans, and all these athletes with slogans on their t-shirts. That means nothing. What are they actually doing for the community? How are they improving their lives? And the point is, they're not. President Trump has implemented many policies to support the Black community, and that's why we want another 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely. He's donated more to Black colleges. The prison reform was huge. Thousands of African Americans released from prisons on crimes that were overcharged or just false to begin with. He's the president that has let more Blacks out of prison. He's the president who has donated more to African American colleges, and of course he's got that the platinum plan that brings everybody together and to rebuild the cities. That's very important, and I think it's great. Also, if you want to take a look at what's going on in sports, I personally believe that the BLM movement has ruined the NBA. It has ruined professional sports, because now if you're not woke to BLM, then you're racist, and that's why you saw the NBA playoffs, probably one of the lowest all-time ratings in television history for a NBA Finals. It is because of the political correctness and the BLM and the way it's more instead of a basketball, it's more of a social platform for civil.
Yeah, it's almost like it's theatrical performance. And it is so sad, all of these millionaire minority basketball players who clearly made it in America because of our values, our support for freedom and capitalist values, they would never be able to achieve that anywhere in Latin America. They'd never be able to achieve that in Asia, India, all these countries, and they don't understand that. And it's completely hypocritical for them to sit on the high throne and say that, they're oppressed in America when they're clearly not. And it is so sad how many people will just kneel for the national anthem, and the people that stand have to explain themselves. They have to explain why they support our country, why they stand for our flag or our national anthem. There's no explanation for it. You should stand for it anyway. This is America. People are provided so many freedoms here that are denied all across the globe. We are extremely blessed to live in this great country, and everyone should stand for the national anthem. There should be no question about it, and there should be no contestation about it either.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, we'll just step aside and show you a little bit of the crowd that has formed in just in the last 15, 20 minutes. It seems like the stream is starting to slow down some to come in the venue here. And of course, as you can imagine, security is always tight. It takes a while to get everyone checked out, but it is building. And I would say, just kind of eyeballing it here, I'd say 2,000 to 3,000 people, which is a great crowd on relatively short notice, and as this president has done, I want to say that total was like 17 rallies in 3 days. It's remarkable what he's doing. And I put up on Twitter earlier, it's time to pray. It's time to pray for this president, because it's, he's traveling the country, 17 states, 3 days. Prayer is needed, especially on this Sunday.
Absolutely. Never underestimate the power of prayer. I'm so glad that we have a strong Christian community in this country and for our president. And President Trump supports religious freedom. He supports the right for us to assemble and support God in schools. And you know what? It's so sad for me in my experience in college how there's such an anti-religious sentiment being taught in the schools. So we're being taught that God isn't real. We're being taught that we can't wear cross necklaces to school, and it's completely unacceptable. We need to fight back, because God for us Christians is the most important thing to us. And if that's being taken away, we're being taken away essentially of all our livelihoods and all that matters to us. And so keep your prayers. We really, really appreciate them. We're praying for you too, and pray for our president, pray for our country.
Yes, this is, if I can be just so brutally honest and clear here, this is a fight between good and evil is what this is. This is an attack on our fundamental Judeo-Christian values of our country. This is an attack on everything we've believed in, everything our government is formed around, and this is what the Socialist Party wants to do. And people, and what's incredible is, if you take a look at what has happened to the Democratic Party over the years. Okay, what has happened is amazing, because JFK, okay, to today's standards, would not be your traditional Democrat, okay? The traditional Democrat today is the far left. It's the radical left. And so it is amazing what has happened to the Democratic Party. They have been hijacked by leftists, by socialists. So this election is more than just Donald Trump for 4 more years or Joe Biden for 4 years. It's about, are we going to stay on the path of what's right and what's godly in our country, or are we going to try to remove all elements of faith in our country? And I will ask you this: if you've been to a Joe Biden, Kamala Harris rally, how much prayer is involved? How many mentions of God's involved? How many gospel tunes are played over the loudspeakers here before a rally? I'm going to probably guess that it's nothing. That is nothing. It doesn't happen. So for Judeo-Christian values, and of course now you've got the crowd all waving to us here, and we love you so much. We love these guys so much. And I mean, isn't it amazing? I've been with several media groups. I've never seen the love that we're seeing here from the crowds here. It's just awesome. It's awesome to see this.
Absolutely, and I'd like to add, this crowd is simply amazing. They won't stop smiling, they won't stop waving. They're great, and we love all of your support so much. And look at the youth. They keep cheering for us. I love seeing the youth being so patriotic and loving of our country. It's amazing. And I wanted to add to your previous comment about JFK, Ryan. JFK was a Catholic, and Joe Biden is as well. But no Catholic supports the killing of innocent babies. If you are a Catholic, you should not be voting for Joe Biden. It goes directly against science, but it goes against our Catholic teachings. We need to protect the unborn. We need to be pro-life, but we need to vote pro-life too. And know what? And it's also important to note that JFK was pro-gun, and JFK was pro-religious freedom, and he was pro-life. And so, yes, there's been this huge radical shift to the left for whatever reason, and it's so palpable how far left they've become, how far their ideology has come, and who knows what's caused it, but it's unacceptable, and we will not let it run our country whatsoever. We need to support our president for another 4 years, absolutely.
Yeah. And we've talked about academia and what happens when a young person goes off to college. You can spend your entire life raising somebody with Judeo-Christian values to love this country, to love God, and just be a good person. And as soon as they go to college, after one semester, they come back for Thanksgiving, and all of a sudden they change their gender pronoun. All of a sudden, they're this or that. They hate this country. They don't worship God. Like, what in the world goes on in these college campuses? And I think it's important that young people like yourself, and I'm so proud of you, I'm proud of having you on this broadcast, rise up and stand for what's right, and conservative values is very important.
Right, absolutely. And you know what? I'll be frank, my first year of college, I was a little shy to be so loud in my conservative beliefs, especially in my political science classrooms and in my humanities classrooms, because, you know, these lecturers, they so obviously leaned to the left, and they didn't care that their students knew. And you know what? They obviously had these strong biases, and they would affect students' grades unjustly because they didn't agree with their narratives. And I knew that, and that caused me to be silent even though I didn't want to be, because I was scared about my grades being affected. I was scared about the repercussions, and that affects millions and millions of college students all across the world. There are conservatives in the classrooms. They're just silent because they're scared of the repercussions. That's why we need to change the professors that are getting hired. We need to change the entire hiring system, and education overall. It's unacceptable what's being taught in the classrooms, and like I mentioned earlier, it's completely going to change voter outcomes, and it's really important at my state because we're a swing state, and the Ohio State University is one of the largest universities in the country, and that has a huge impact on voting patterns and how our state will turn, whether red or blue, in years to come.
Absolutely. And of course, critical race theory is being pushed in our universities that inherently says everything in our society is racist. Our schools, our system, our government, our business, everything is racist, and they'll find racism in everything. And I think that's one thing we need to push back, because this election has been where if you're voting for Donald Trump, you are a racist, you are a bigot, you are xenophobic, you're homophobic. And I love seeing the amount of people from the LGBTQ community come out for conservatives. And I think some of the bravest people, now listen to me real quickly, I think some of the bravest people that are patriots in this country are the ones that have crossed the line on the LGBTQ and have stood for conservative values in this president. I mean, think about that. That takes a lot of courage to do that.
Absolutely. And you know, one man I really look up to is Rob Smith from, I believe, 20 Point USA, and he's the conservative gay man, and the hate he receives is just unbelievable. And you know, he mentioned before in multiple interviews, it was harder for him to come out as a conservative than it was to come out as gay. And you know what? It is so ironic and hypocritical how the left always preaches love and tolerance, but the second you come out supporting conservative ideals or Trump, you are almost subhuman to them. They treat you like you're an unequal, and they'll call you, you know, all these horrendous names. And Rob Smith is also, you know, a black man, and he was called all these racial slurs after he came out as conservative by leftist community. And it's just so palpable, the hate that they spew to anyone that disagrees with them, and that just shows how hateful they are to this American values and how much they reject those values. And that is why we have to support our president, because he stands for American values and he supports anyone that supports America.
Absolutely. Hey, if you're just joining us, we are live in Washington, Michigan, as we wait for President Trump to arrive here. He's supposed to arrive around 11 o'clock. We'll see exactly what that looks like. But we want to thank our partner of the day, iTarget Pro. I mean, it's guys like iTarget Pro that allow this broadcast to come to you. And of course, between you, the viewer, and iTarget Pro, It is so important that we get your donations and your gifts.
Absolutely. Innocent people are falling victims of crime, intimidation, and force, and are forced to fend for themselves because Democrats and the left are successfully defending the police. When the government can't or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only option. But most of us don't have the time to consistently train, plus the ammo is really expensive. That's why iTarget Pro was invented. Using the proprietary app and laser bullet, you can now train safely in the convenience of your own home with your actual firearm. iTarget comes in all the major calibers, including .223 and .556, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. Today you can save 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days of practice. That's the letter itargetpro.com, itargetpro.com, and the offer code is SAVE10, SAVE10. Thank you.
There you go, and it makes a perfect gift for someone. If you have a 2A advocate in your house, iTarget Pro is the perfect gift for that. We're standing by and we've seen a couple new kind of emergency vehicles pull up. I'm kind of looking around, seeing a little bit of activity, I guess, coming from this security detail here, which only makes me think that maybe something could be happening pretty soon. I don't know if you're getting a shot of the crowd right now behind the stage. It's thick, it's packed in there. And it's they are loud, they are rowdy, they are ready for this president. It doesn't matter. I see the motorcade coming up right now. It doesn't matter that the wind's literally blowing at about 40 miles an hour gusts, and I've had to hang on to Adrian here so we don't fall off the risers. But it is cold, it is brisk, but guess what? Michigan is at stake. 16 electoral votes up for grabs, and this is a very crucial state. Back in 2016, the president won this state by just over 10,000 votes, and of course now is the time to take it back again. This is one of 5 stops for the president. We've got Michigan, Ohio, North Carolina, Georgia, and then wrapped it up tonight. A late start tonight from what I've been told in Miami. So we are just excited. The press corps has showed up. Some dignitaries from the presidential campaign have showed up. They're waving to the crowd back in the back as they exit the vehicles to come to the holding tents. I would imagine, Adrian, those white tents behind there probably have some heat blowing through there. Do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. No, I was asking about that earlier because I am freezing, literally.
Yeah.
I can't even decide whether this is worse than Minnesota, honestly, in terms of weather. But yes, I was asking earlier about these white tents over there, whether those were for the press, because man, it is so cold out here. But you know, it's worth it. It's worth it to see our president.
It is, and I've
shortly, but it's all worth it.
And I've talked to a lot of young people. Perhaps this is your first election. If this is your first election to vote in, let us know. Comment down below and say, and tell me, what was it about this president that really resonated with you as a young person? What is it about this president that made you think, you know what, I need to get out and vote for him? And if wherever you're watching this from as well, I like to always find location. We always have international viewers. We've had Australia, New Zealand, just around the world, the UK, Germany, Ireland, all joining in on this broadcast. We certainly appreciate there. If you want to follow me on social media, you can do so. Brian Glenn TV, that's BRIAN Glenn, GLENN, Brian Glenn TV, across the board, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and of course, Adrian, you've got your handles as well.
Yeah, all right, so I'm only on Instagram. Nonetheless, that is Adrian Ferguson _ ADRIENNEFERGUSON _ So reach out. I love communicating with fellow patriots, and I'm gonna head to the chat now, just read a couple comments and definitely show some support to our donors. We received $100 from Suzanne Dalton.
Wow.
And she said Wisconsin cheeseheads were lady, and the first lady and Trump. So thank you so much, Suzanne, for that very, very generous gift. That seriously goes such a long way for us here at RSBN, and especially when it comes to our travel expenses and camera equipment and just uploading all this content online for you folks. That really makes all of that possible. So thank you so much, Suzanne. Thank you so much. We received $20 from June L, and they said, God bless American President Trump, #MAGA, promises made, promises kept. Absolutely. Thank you so much, June. We received $51 from one of our RSBN moderators, and they said $1 for each year, for each Brian year. Happy birthday, Brian.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys. I really do.
We received $20 from Roger Bryant, and JFK and Donald Trump Jr. Donald Trump are real American presidents. Absolutely. We received $20 from Louis Miller. Hair reporters, go buy yourself a coffee or a hot chocolate. Thank you, RSBN. Go Trump. I wish. Who knows? We got to work for you folks. So thank you so much for that generous donation. And it looks like Mario Buchted just became a Lincoln Club member. So welcome to the club. We see that Lorena Ali just donated $20. So thank you so much, Lorena, for that and supporting our news organization. We received $10 from Book Me Dano, and they said, thank you, RSBN, thank you for open prayer and supporting our president. Absolutely, we never underestimate the power of prayer, and we love your comment, and we love your very generous donation. Lena sent us $4.98. Hi, and they said, happy birthday to Brian. Many thanks for broadcasting every Trump's rallies, uncut, unedited. Who needed more on the website? Absolutely, we'll definitely take a look at that. And if you left a message, you folks can definitely leave us messages on our RSBN website, and you can also donate there as well. And we'll take a look at those soon. So thank you so much for that comment, Lena. We really appreciate your gift. We received $10 from Paul Leah, and the comment was, Canada Christians, pray for Mr. Trump, pray for USA. Absolutely, we love that we have our Canadian brothers and sisters here with us. And we received $4.99 from Julie Jules. And she said, Texas for Trump 2020, right side broadcasting you raw. Thank you, Julie, for that kind comment and for your very generous gift. We received €5 from Sean English. And he said, just telling you guys today, wonderful to see the crowd instead of fake news agenda. Well done, absolutely. No fake news agenda here, not at all. We received $10 from Joanne Naomi, so thank you, Joanne, and we love your comment. Immigrants are Trump, beat socialism and communism. Absolutely, we will not let that step foot here in America. We received $19.99 from Dylan S65AMG, and he said, God bless Trump, we need him to save my country, Lebanon. Wow, absolutely, thank you for your support all the way from Lebanon. And we just received $5 from John Warnock. And the comment was about
Stand by. I think we may have a presidential announcement coming up.
Please welcome Ivanka Trump.
Okay, Ivanka Trump, which is...
Michigan. You are absolutely amazing. And I have to say, I have loved and respected my father my entire life. But it has been the honor of a life to see him fight, serve, and lead the amazing people of this country. You know, I have found that people fight the hardest for that which they love the most. And that's you, and that's the United States of America, and that's who President Trump fights for every single day. He goes to the mat for you, for your families, for your communities, and for your future of this country. I recently read a quote that I thought was so amazing by the legendary Winston Churchill. He said, "It was a nation that had the lion's heart. I just had the luck to give it its roar." How much does that remind you of our president and this movement? Did he give all of us the roar? Yes, he did. He made all of us take a hard look at our own convictions and ask ourselves, what do we want for our country? We want jobs, we want opportunity, we want to believe in American greatness, and that's what's on the ballot. With your help, with your support, and with your vote in 2 days from 4 years. My father, Donald J. Trump. Thank you, and God bless.
American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know.
And thank you very much for 4 years ago, but I gave you a lot of auto plants, so I think we're even, right? And we have a lot more moving in, a lot more moving in. Thank you very much. I love you too. If I didn't, I wouldn't be standing here because it's freezing out here. Think of this, 2 days, now we're down to 2 days, right? 2 days from now, we are going to win the state of Michigan again. And we are going to win 4 more years in that very beautiful place called the White House. Over the last 4 years, I fought for Michigan like no one has ever fought for Michigan. Before I became president, the great state of Michigan was hemorrhaging your car companies and your car businesses. And thanks to corrupt politicians like Joe Biden, he's turned out to be a corrupt politician. He is corrupt. Plants were closing and moving to Mexico and many other places. You know that. You know that better than anybody. There had been no new plants had been built in Michigan in decades and decades before I got here. I stopped the moves, and now many plants are being built and already have been built. Plants are being expanded. The automobile business is coming back. I told countries, Japan, Germany, and others, sorry, you have to bring it into our country. And I always used to say, like, Michigan. I think of Michigan when I think of cars. And I'd say Michigan, but I'd say Ohio, and I'd say South Carolina, and plenty other places. And we've brought back millions of cars produced a year. But the biggest beneficiary is right here. I'm standing up to the global special interest who got rich bleeding America dry. You know, that wind is coming right into my face. And I'm saying, it's hard to breathe. They set this place up great. That wind is pouring in as I'm talking. It's pouring in up the mouth, up the nose. This is very pleasant. This is very pleasant. I hope they don't recover. I hope they don't report this one for posterity, okay? This is a crazy place, but we love Michigan. Good job. Good job. I'm just saying, whoever set this up, they, it could have had a little angle. How about if they had a little angle? The corrupt establishment hates me because I don't answer to them. I answer to you, which is true. And with your vote, we will continue to bring you jobs back, to enact fair trade. You saw what we've done, but think of all the plants. Just forget about everything else. You didn't have any auto plants 4 years ago. I got Man of the Year in Michigan 12 years ago, and I left. I made a speech. I said, Mexico and Canada, they're taking all your car business. Why are you letting that happen? It turned out to be quite a controversial speech. It was true, but it was controversial. It was very controversial. I laugh. I'm saying, my people are geniuses, real geniuses. But you know what? It turned out to be true. And since then, we've been doing things like nobody's ever done. Cut your taxes, cut your regulations, and ensure that more products are proudly stamped with those beautiful words, that beautiful phrase, made in the USA. Thank you very much. So we had the luck of having Ivanka here, so I said, yeah, you introduced me. And I'll tell you, that was the shortest introduction she's ever given me, and now I understand why. I understand. Thank you, darling. It was actually under the circumstances, not too bad. Next year will be the greatest economic year in the history of our country. You see what's happening. You see what's happening. We had growth like nobody has ever seen in this country, or probably any other country, 33.1%, and the fake news hardly makes it a story. But right now they don't care, they're just trying to survive. Look at them back there. They're just trying to survive. Joe Biden will shut down your economy, raise taxes, wants a $4 trillion tax increase. He's the only politician I've ever seen who said, we will raise your taxes. You're supposed to vote for it. We will not frack. He said that for a year, and then when he came to Pennsylvania, he goes like, oh yeah, I guess it's okay. No, there won't be energy. They're going to go the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal will destroy our country. The Green New Deal is done by AOC plus 3, right? I don't think they ever do you think they ever took a course on the environment? I wonder, did you ever have a course on, let's say, the environment? The Green New Deal. At first I thought they were kidding. Then I said, actually they are kidding, you know that. They get it. They get it, they're kidding, but you're gonna have to pay for their kidding. They want to close down your factories, ship your jobs to China, eliminate private health care, destroy the suburbs. I got rid of the, I always say, women, whoa. The women, that was them speaking. The women of the suburbs, you've got to love me. I got rid of the regulation that will ruin the suburbs. I cut it out. I said, let's terminate it, Ben. Let's just terminate it. But if they come back, then Cory Booker is going to be in charge. And that regulation will not be good. No, we save the suburbs. They want to abolish oil, coal, natural gas, and send your state into you know what's going to happen here? You'll have a depression. You'll have a depression. Your gasoline will go up to $6, $7. How do you like the $2 gasoline? Is that Well, you know, you'll have it for a long time if you elect Trump. If you don't, you're going to be, boom. The damage that Biden and Harris would inflict would endure for many generations. You can't fix it easy. You can't fix it easy. Under my leadership, our economy is now growing at the fastest rate ever recorded, 33.1%. This was announced yesterday, right? It was just announced. They didn't make a big deal out of it. If this were announced with Obama, they'd say, this is the greatest president ever. You know, he's so great that he left me 142 judges to fill, right? 142. You know what? If I were a Democrat, and think of it, I'm a Democrat, and my president left me 142 slots of judges. That's why we're going to be at 300 judges and 3 Supreme Court judges. They said, sir, the wind isn't so strong. No, it's about 50 miles an hour. I think it's a minus 20-degree wind chill. They call it wind chill, right? This is a true test, but I love the people of Michigan. We won. We won. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. We won last time, right? It's worth it. If we didn't win last time, I probably wouldn't even be standing. I'd get up here and say, no thanks, this is like the great Pavarotti, the singer, when, you know, he was a diva. He was the greatest of all divas. He was an incredible talent with a most unbelievable voice. And I've gone to concerts where he would say, no, 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 I do not feel good. I will not sing tonight, and he'd leave. See? And then I've gone to some where it was the most unbelievable voice that ever lived. I mean, the greatest, right? Pavarotti. But he liked me for whatever reason. He was very terrible to other people. To me, he was nice. He liked me. But he goes, Donald, I will not sing tonight. You don't have 1,000 people. I will not sing tonight because I do not feel, I will leave tonight. And they'd leave. I'd say, ladies and gentlemen, he's just canceled. But when he was great, he was great. But now I feel like him. I say, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I'm getting it. No, I don't have that. I'm not a diva. While foreign nations are in free fall, we are creating the world's greatest economic powerhouse. We are the economic envy of the world, and now the military envy of the world. We have the greatest new equipment anywhere in the world. A recent Gallup poll found that 56% of Americans say they are better off today than they were 4 years ago under Obama-Biden. And we're rounding the turn on a pandemic. Think of that. And that's a record. In my first 3 years, I raised middle-class family incomes $6,500. That was in a 3-year period. Whereas the Biden-Harris agenda was projected and is projected to, if you go by their crazy plan, Wall Street Journal, you're going to lose $6,000. They're going to take it out, and they're going to waste it. But it's not 6, it's much more than that. And we're going up to a substantial number, and that's not including energy. And if you think about energy, when you're at $2 and your electric bills are nice and low, when they get rid of all our petroleum products and other things, everything, and they go to wind. Let's build windmills all over the place. Let's litter the landscape. Let's have littered the landscape. You know, when you build a windmill, I'm not against wind. It should be in industrial areas, maybe. But it's very expensive, very expensive. And if you want to see a lot of dead birds, all you have to do is go to the bottom of a windmill. If you'd like to see a lot of dead birds, go to the bottom of, they pile up. They don't know what to do with them. I'll tell you, it's crazy. And they're environmentalists. They want wind. And when the wind doesn't blow, let's watch President Trump's speech tonight, State of the Union. He's done very nice State of the Union with Nancy ripping it up in the back, crazy day. Let's watch President Trump, let's watch his, and the man, the husband will say, darling, I'm sorry, we can't. The wind is not blowing tonight. It's intermittent. They call it intermittent television. You have a network, intermittent television. No. We have to power our great factories. We have to power these great plants and factories. And you can't do it that way. Maybe someday, but right now, in solar, I like solar. It's extremely expensive. And it doesn't have near the power that you need for what we're talking about now. And you know, when we do what they want us to do, but China doesn't do it, and Russia doesn't do it, and India doesn't do it, we will be at such a competitive disadvantage, we might as well just fold up the tent. We have the #1 economy in the world right now by far. By far. And we're not losing it on my watch, I can tell you that. Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, spent 47 years outsourcing your jobs, opening your borders, and sacrificing American blood and treasure in endless foreign wars. Michigan lost half of its auto job thanks to Biden's NAFTA and China disasters. You know that. You know, it's amazing. Nobody saw the debate, I'm sure, the other night, right? Nobody? Do you notice the way I kept saying, Joe, why didn't you do it? He'd say, well, I would do this, and I would do that, and I would. I said, Joe, why didn't you do it? You were there for 47 years. And you just left 3.5 years ago. You know, why didn't you do it, Sleepy Joe, you sleepy guy? Sleepy. You see him now, he's got the shades on. Comes out. Hey, be quiet up there, be quiet. He said, they keep clapping up there. They're all our people. We have more people show up. They're our people. No, he's very agitated. You know how angry he is? He's so angry. You know why he's angry? Because he's losing. That's why he's angry. No, he's very agitated. I don't think he knows he's losing. I don't think he knows anything, actually. No, he's very, very angry and agitated. But now he's got the shades. What do they call them? Aviators? But they're too small. They should be bigger, you know? Got the little shades on. Doesn't have to work on the eyes. But it is something. Do you see the way our people, they were protecting his bus yesterday because they're nice. So his bus, they had hundreds of cars. Trump, and the American flag. That's it. You see Trump and American flag. Do you ever notice when you see the other side? I don't even see much of the other side. You don't see any. They have no spirit. They have no enthusiasm. They have no nothing. But you know what? I don't see it. But whenever you see like a small group, because it's got to be small because there's nobody around, nobody cares. But you see these groups, you never see an American flag. I always say, if you look at a group and you don't see the American flag, you know that's the opposition, you know? And I say that Congress, and I'm going to do very hard for this because we have to go through a big deal, but I say when somebody burns the American flag, they should go to jail for 1 year. I say that. And we have to get even the sister. Oh, look at the sisters. You agree with me? That's right. These beautiful sisters. Wow. Well, we're with you. You know that. Little sisters of Trump and the American flag. That's it. You see Trump and American flag. Do you ever notice when you see the other side? I don't even see much of the other side. You don't see any. They have no spirit. They have no enthusiasm. They have no nothing. But you know what? I don't see it. But whenever you see like a small group, because it's got to be small because there's nobody around, nobody cares. But you see these groups, you never see an American flag. I always say, if you look at a group and you don't see the American flag, you know that's the opposition, you know? And I say that Congress, and I'm going to do very hard for this because we have to go through a big deal, but I say when somebody burns the American flag, they should go to jail for 1 year. I say that. And we have to get even the sister. Oh, look at the sisters. You agree with me? That's right. These beautiful sisters. Wow. Well, we're with you. You know that. Little sisters of the poor. I'm with them, and you know. We did a good job. Are you cold? Are you cold right now? They're cold. Don't be too cold. They go, no. God will keep you warm. I know that. Of American economic surrender, now we have the USMCA, which is great for you, and your companies won't be leaving. Just kicked in. Your companies won't be. Well, one thing I had to have. Wait, I have to look this way so I can breathe. The wind is so strong you can't breathe. I've never had that before. It's pouring in. Man, this is a beauty. This is a hell of a day. You guys must love Trump. This place is packed. It feels so good when I look at them. It's perfect. But they didn't set it up right. That's okay. We'll get by it. But a vote for Biden is a vote to completely eradicate. I mean, you will eviscerate your auto industry. It will be terrible. We can't do it. You know, we've worked very hard to bring it back. I met with Prime Minister Abe of Japan, great guy, since retired. He had a problem with health, but fantastic man. And I said, no, Shinzo, you have to send plants to Michigan. You have to send plants to the United States. And he said, no, I cannot do that. That is a private decision. I said, Shinzo, you're a powerful man. I'm sure you can do it. No. I said, you have to do it, Shinzo, because you're making too many cars, sending them here. We want them made in the United States. You have to do it. He says, well, I can't. The next day they announced there were 5 companies moving to Michigan and moving to Japan. That was Japan. He's a great guy, that one, I'll tell you. While Biden was giving China your jobs, his family raked in millions and millions of dollars from the Chinese Communist Party. Think of that. Joe Biden is a corrupt politician who bought and is paid for. Look, he's bought and paid for by China. How about his son? His son walks in. He's supposed to be fair. Now, how the hell can this guy deal with China? His son's, like a human vacuum cleaner. Hey, Dad, what country are you going today? China. Oh, good. Maybe I can take in a couple of million, but really it's not that. It's much more. Let me follow you, Dad. I'm the vacuum cleaner. Let me follow. I'll give you 10%. Hey, Dad, I'll give you 10%. No, he took in $1.5 billion, and he managed, with no experience, he's managing $1.5 billion. Then he got, his big one was, he wants China to pay $10 million a year for recommending service. He's going to recommend, okay? He's going to introduce, I guess he calls it introductory services. He's introducing his father. Sister, do you think this is honest? Do you think so? They all said no. That's good enough for me, sister, I'll tell you. Although, how about Ukraine, the kid? Do you have any energy experience? No. When was the last time you worked? Well, I was thrown out of the military. I haven't worked in a long time. Oh, I see. But you know something about energy? No. Well, we'd love to have you serve on the board of Burisma. Would $183,000 a month be satisfactory? No. I'd like you to make an upfront payment of $3 million. Okay, so we'll give you an upfront payment of $3 million. We'll give you $183,000 a month. Would you be? Yes, we'll accept that. But we want very big escalation over the course of a year. Oh, we'll work that out too. This is so corrupt. I mean, this is so corrupt. And how about just to find a Russia? Did you see the laptop from hell? Now Shifty Schiff. Okay, Schiff, the world's most dishonest politician, Schiff. Shifty Schiff, he said, he thinks the laptop from hell was created by Russia. It was right. They go, in Russia, they probably looked, they said, oh no, here we go again. These politicians, a friend of mine said, tell me, a great guy, very successful guy. I mean, he's not really a friend anymore because he keeps calling me Mr. President. He used to call me, hey, Don, let's have dinner. Very successful. Richard, hey, Don, let's have dinner. Let's get together. And you talk and you'd have fun. It's normal, right? Now he calls, hello, Mr. President, sir. How are you? How are you doing? Is everything good? I said, yeah, it's good, Richard. You have to call me Mr. President. It's just, I can't. It's like you lose all your friends because they're intimidated by the office. Does that make sense? You don't have any friends. I have my friends in Michigan. It's true. We have our friends in Michigan. Hello, Mr. President. I said, Richard, call me Donald. Okay, Donald. 2 minutes later, Mr. President, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, at least we're having a good time. Is there any place to have a better time than a Trump rally? I mean, it's very serious times, but you know, when it's cold like this and it's probably like less than 0 with the wind chill and with the wind blowing directly to... This was a person that works for us that doesn't like me probably very much. But no, it's direct. But we're having a good time. I'm having a good time. It's really a contest. It's really a contest to see whether or not we can all stand it, right? And we'll get through it. And we'll love it. We'll love it, and I'm loving it. If Biden wins, China wins. When we win, America wins. In 2016, Michigan voted to fire this corrupt political establishment, and you elected an outsider as your president who is finally putting America first. If I don't sound like a typical Washington politician, it's because I'm not a politician. That's the reason. If I don't always play by the rules of Washington and the Washington establishment, it's because I was elected to fight for you, and nobody has ever fought harder for you. Remember this, Michigan, because you got to vote. The big thing, you got to go vote Tuesday. If you don't vote for me after this deal, I'll tell you. No, I don't want you to do that. I want you because we did a great job. We brought back your car industry. Your car industry was finished. You would have had nothing left. If I wasn't president, I really believe everybody would have moved back out to Mexico and these other places. And by the way, the USMCA puts you on a whole different footing. You know how I know? Because Mexico and Canada didn't love the deal. That always, they didn't love it. They're not so thrilled. They like the old deal much better. Why can't they used to say every 15? Why don't we just keep the old deal? No, thank you. You don't have to take my word for it on Biden's 47 years of treachery and betrayal. We have it on tape. You'll see this. Where the hell is it? Oh, there. We only do this for areas that we like because that sucker is expensive. No, I mean, just seriously, just holding it up in this wind. Go ahead, roll it.
My problem is I voted for NAFTA. I'm supporting NAFTA because I think it is a positive thing to do. And I do not pretend to be an expert on international trade matters.
Trade agreements like NAFTA and permanent normal trade relations with China, which forced American workers to compete against people who are making pennies an hour, has resulted in the loss of 160,000 jobs.
The president is absolutely right when he says that China has been cheating for 25 years and that Bill Clinton didn't do enough about it, George W. Bush didn't do enough about it, Barack Obama didn't do enough about it.
The rising China is an incredibly positive development for not only China, but the United States and the rest of the world. Rising China is a positive development. It is in our self-interest that China continue to prosper. We want to see China rise. China's a great nation, and we should hope for the continued expansion. China is not our enemy. We talk about China as our competitor. We should be helping. The idea that China is going to eat our lunch is bizarre. The idea that they are our competition, they're going to beat us, is bizarre. They're not bad folks. China's not a problem.
Allowing China into the World Trade Organization, which he supported, extending most favored nation status to China, which he supported, those steps allowed China to take advantage of the United States by using our own open trade deals against us.
No.
Do you think in retrospect that you were naive about China?
No.
But doesn't he deserve some credit for that? It's better. The USMCA is better than NAFTA.
It is better than NAFTA. You know, we have to come together. That's why I'm running. I'm running as a proud Democrat for the Senate. So vote! Vote! Visit iwill.com/Ohio. God bless you.
Can somebody tell Joe, by the way, it's not a real website, and Joe, you're running for president, not senator, and by the way, that senator, the Mormon guy, is Mitt Romney, not some Mormon governor. Now, sadly, what we showed you, that's just from a couple of hours today. because every time that Joe actually leaves the basement bunker and stays out past 10 a.m., well, disaster ensues. Here's a quick reminder.
Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday, and I want to thank you all. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330. We choose truth over facts. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Donald Trump does pose an existential threat to this. It's not hypothetical.
This is pretty serious. By the way, these are way beyond an occasional campaign gaffe, and I am beginning, well, I'm more than a little worried that this man could represent a clear and present danger to this country. He's obviously not capable of leading. He's been hiding the entire campaign, and the corrupt media mob is covering for him. Joe wants to be the president of the United States of America. That would be the toughest job in the world, and at times, Joe doesn't seem to remember that he's even running for president, or what state he's in, or what day of the week it is. Does anyone really believe that if elected, that Joe Biden will actually be in control of anything?
What kind of country we're going to be? 4 more years of Georgia, he is going to find ourselves in a position where if Trump gets elected, we're going to be in a different world.
Barack and I think it's a right for people that bad at health care. Folks, we got a lot of work to do. I don't only need you to get me elected, I need you once I'm elected. I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
Come on, we know. That is something. I don't know. You know what? Our country is great. We have such great potential. You can't do that. You can't. We want to be nice. You know the good news? He's not a nice guy, so I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad at all. One of the biggest issues for Michigan in this election is the subject of refugees. With this weather, you don't have to worry about it. They'll never come. They're never coming. You sent a vid that said, I'm going back. This is terrible. It's freezing up here. I want to go back immediately to Syria. Syria never looked so good. To protect our national security, I suspended the entry of refugees from foreign nations compromised by terrorism. You know that. If it's okay with you, I'm going to do that. And you see what's happening in France? You see that mess that's going on over there? Called the president with condolences, but they're having a big problem. Biden has pledged with Bernie the manifesto 700% increase. They've agreed to this in refugees from the most dangerous terrorist spots in the world. Syria, Somalia, Yemen. The Biden plan will turn Michigan, Minnesota, and many other Midwest great states into refugee camps, which I'm sure you're thrilled about. He's also vowed to terminate all of the different elements of, look, we have some very strong bans, some very, very strong bans, and he wants to terminate. I got a travel ban that was tough stuff to get it, and it was not easy, but he wants to terminate the travel ban, and we have a travel ban that works. When we have people that hate us, when we have countries that hate us, they come out of regions that are a disaster. We don't want them in our country. We don't want them. But it would have allowed what they want. They want to allow virtually unlimited immigration into our country. They want to allow virtually unlimited access into our country. They want health care, education. I mean, the whole thing is crazy. It's just crazy. There's no way you're putting that guy in. I don't believe it. There's no way. The people of Michigan are too smart, and we've come too far together. This place was a mess. This place was a mess 4 years ago, and frankly, if your governor opened up your state, which he has to do. Well, Biden, you know, Biden's all about lockdowns. He loves a lockdown. Well, she's tough on everybody but her husband. He can do whatever he wants. I'm not just running against Joe Biden. I'm running against the left-wing mob, the left-wing media, big tech giants. I'm running against the rhinos. They're probably the worst of all. And I'm running against the swamp. The swamp is very deep and very vicious. And they are not happy with the job we've done. And by the way, I don't know if you've been watching what's going on with the election. And this isn't even polls anymore. This is like fact. These are people going out and voting. We're doing very, very well. We're leading all over the place. You know, we're supposed to be leading after the great red wave is going to come over the next little while. It's coming, it's building. It's going to be a wave like I think, and this is far beyond the last one. This is going to be a wave like nobody's ever seen before. Tuesday, did you vote? Tuesday, right? Tuesday. Super Tuesday, we'll call it, right? Tuesday's going to be beautiful. Great red wave. But we're leading even before we get there. You know, we're supposed to, they have all these crazy ballots, millions and millions of ballots. Well, we're leading a lot of places before. We're supposed to be way down, and then we catch up and we win. We nip them like a racehorse, right? But we're leading before we get to the race. No, they're very worried. And they're very worried. They said, the black community, the Hispanic community, what's going on? It's voting for Trump. What's going on? They don't get it. What's going on? They don't get it. They still don't get it. People cannot stand the censorship from the media and big tech either. It's one of the reasons we're doing well, because they understand. They no longer feel they're getting the truth from the media. It's a big factor. They've lost confidence in the media. They have no confidence in big tech. And they're tired, very tired of cancel culture. They're tired of being told what to think and what to do. And I'll tell you, it's having a big impact on this race. People get it. People are smart. The backlash against this censorship is driving more and more people to support our campaign. Who would have thought this was going to happen? This took place 2 weeks ago when they wouldn't look at, where's Hunter, right? There he is. Where's Hunter? No, 2 weeks ago when they wouldn't look at where's Hunter, and they have, because we officially made his first name Where, right? Because everyone's constantly, that is called the laptop from hell, and they didn't want to look at it. They want nothing to do with it, no matter what they do. Look, the greatest crime, political crime ever in this country was spying on our campaign, and they got caught, right? That was the greatest crime, and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But this is something that's really big, and they don't even want to talk about it. They don't want to write about it. They don't want to talk about it. But you know what? The people understand, and you get to see it. You have a small handful of young, arrogant, obnoxious, also brilliant young people. They're worth a lot of money, Silicon Valley CEOs, and they're trying to take over our worlds. Not going to happen. Hey, let's do this. They said to me the first election, they said, sir, you can't fight big tech and you can't fight the media. And then we won, and I said, oh, really? Yeah, I said. Now they say it again. You cannot fight big tech and you cannot fight the media. I want to win again, if for no other reason. Right? If for no other reason. But you can defeat them if you have the right ideas, the right policy, if you have the right thoughts, and you have people that are smart, and they don't go for fake news because it's fake news. I've been calling it one of the great terms. I hope they give me credit for fake news. That was a great term. Now I call it corrupt news because it's gone beyond fake. It's totally corrupt. But vote on November 3rd. You vote. We're going to have an election. And I never thought I'd say, because what we did was incredible 4 years ago. This is more important. This is going to be this could be the most important election in the history of our country. Because if that side gets in, those maniacs, AOC +3, Ilhan Omar, they're going to put Ilhan Omar in charge of immigration. She will be in charge of immigration. If these people, they're maniacs who don't like our country, do you think Ilhan Omar, that's one of the reasons we're going to win Minnesota, because of Ilhan Omar. How the hell did she get elected? I guess she's got a little group of people. Didn't she harvest? I heard she ballot harvested, didn't she? So where is our Justice Department? She ballot. Everybody's telling me stories. They have a great writer in Minnesota, and he writes stories about her volumes, and nothing ever happens to her. Ilhan Omar, she's harvesting ballots. It's illegal, right? They have a story. So why aren't they looking at her? If I did that, they'd be looking at me. They'd be looking at anybody here. It's a disgrace. Honestly, it's a disgrace. And AOC, right? AOC, but didn't she steal $2 million out of her campaign? Didn't AOC steal $2 million out of her campaign? So why aren't they looking at her? Why aren't they looking at her? Justice Department. The Justice Department. They should be looking at. She stole $2 million out of her campaign. AOC +3, right? It's unbelievable. This election is a choice between the Biden depression, because you will have a depression. He's going to raise your taxes. He's going to put regulations back in. All of those plants that moved in are going to close up and say, we're going back to Japan. These people are crazy, right? Or you can have the greatest economic boom in the history of our country. It's a choice between a deadly Biden lockdown. He wants to lock it down, and a safe vaccine, and you do it without the vaccine too, but the vaccine's going to make it quicker. It's coming in a matter of weeks. It's going to be distributed immediately. We're going to start with the seniors, but it's going to go very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. It's going to be really fantastic. It's going to be, I think you'll see something that's going to be absolutely amazing. And thanks to our groundbreaking therapies, here I am, therapy. No, I don't know if it had any impact, but I sure as hell felt good the next morning. I like to say no, it's because I'm in perfect physical health. I'm a perfect physical specimen, and I'm very, very young. I feel young. I didn't need therapy, but I said, give it to me anyway, just in case. And we've already reduced the fatality rate by 85%. Think of it. The Biden plan is to imprison you in your home, but that's what you're going through right now with this governor. This governor, I got to tell you, your governor is not doing a good job. She is not doing a good job. I mean, think of it. Your state, we have other states that are open in Florida. Look at Florida, look at Texas, look at Arizona, the great job they've done there. They had a spike and they focused on the elderly and this and that, all the things. And they're open and they're doing great. Your state is like locked down, and it's your governor. Do you know what's going to happen? On November 4th, she's going to announce we're going to open up the state. See, she thought that the numbers, and by the way, North Carolina, right? And let's see, Pennsylvania is shut down. It's shut down, locked down. It's all locked down. On the 4th, which one? Yeah, well, New York, absolutely. New York's become a ghost town, sister. What they've done, what Cuomo has done to New York is unbelievable. It's terrible. It's terrible. What they've done in New York, and You take a look at certain things. I mean, and then with crime, take a look at Portland. You know, we want to go into Portland so badly. Our guys would solve the Portland problem in about 12 minutes, right? But we have to be asked, because we play nice nowadays. We have to be asked by the governor. We keep asking her, you want us to go in yet? No, sir. Let a few more stores burn down. That's Antifa. That's anarchists. And you know what? They're easy. They're so easy. They're so easy. Look at what happened to Chicago. Do you know we're talking about all Democrat-run cities, all run by the left or the radical left, and these are the problem areas. The Republican cities, it's fact, they're all doing great. We're doing great. The Republican cities. That's why you can't have a radical left. And Joe's not really radical left. He's shot. It doesn't matter. He's shot. Let's face it. I mean, let's face it. Oh, by the way, those clips, those are the easy ones. We didn't want to go any worse. They're much worse than that. They're actually, you know, they're so bad that they're not even funny. The Biden lockdown will mean no school, no graduations, no weddings for you, no Thanksgivings, no Easters, no Christmases, no 4th of Julys, and no future. Other than that, I think he's doing quite a good job, right? Under Biden's lockdown, you will be living in a prison state. That's what it is. They want to lock it down. Let's lock our country down for a couple of years and let it go away. And by the way, those are the people that do the worst. They're the ones doing the worst. Europe imposed draconian lockdowns, and cases were surging and deaths were surging. But think of it, draconian, now they have to do it all over again. What the hell are they doing? I think I'm going to go over and explain it to them. But, you know, they're locking down parts of Europe again. By the way, when you think about it, though, in all fairness, look what China has done to the world. Okay? No, look, I made a great trade deal with them. They ordered, 2 weeks ago, they ordered the largest order of corn, the largest order of soybeans, the largest order of beef ever in the history of our country. You know what? It doesn't matter to me anymore. It's almost like it doesn't matter to me anymore. And obviously they did the big order. It was the biggest order ever. So the farmers love Trump. They should love Trump with what I did with ethanol. And a great poll just came out in Iowa. You saw that, right? Des Moines Register. Trump is winning by a lot. By a lot. But, no, I've been great. And I got China to give the farmers $28 billion because China targeted the farmers. And all of that stuff. But look at what China has done to the world. Forget us. It's us and Europe and the world. Look at, when you see Europe is draconian shutdowns and they're shutting and they're surging. This is all, it all came out of China, and they could have stopped it. They stopped it from going to the rest of China. They stopped it at the Wuhan province. They stopped it, but it came to us and it came to Europe and it went to the 188 countries are suffering. I mean, look at what China, just think of it. Look at what China has done to the world. Look at you with the masks and everything else. Look at what, today you should wear them anyway, probably. But seriously, look at what China has done to the world. And we're not forgetting it. We're not forgetting it. And the reason they ordered the corn, and the reason, you know why? Because they now figured out we're going to win. We're going to win. That's the only reason. And if Biden ever won, China will own the United States of America. Because he has no clue. He's not a smart person. And in prime time, he wasn't a smart person. He was always known as a dummy. He was always known as a dummy. And that was 20, 25 years ago. And now he's a dummy and a half. Biden will trap you in a dark winter. Remember during the debate, it will be a dark winter. Oh, how inspiring, how wonderful. Harry, let's watch the debate tonight. I want to be inspired by the person running against President Trump. This will be a dark winter. Oh, great. That's wonderful. Harry, let's vote. Let's vote for Trump, please. I mean, we had the greatest economy in the history of the world. We were beating everybody. We were going like a rocket ship up from China. If you read your books over if you were into this world, For 10 years, they said 2019 China will eclipse the United States as the #1 biggest economy in the world. I was going like this, but then we got hit with the plague from China. We then got hit with the plague, but now when you see the number that was released on Thursday, you say, "Wow, Trump was right." And that number could only be, I mean, whoever thought of that? 33%, 33.1% increase. It beat the number. You know, second place was 1952, and the number was less than half. So we got it going, but you know what? We've gone through a lot. We've gone through a lot. The whole world has gone through a lot. For what? For what? Why have we done it? So I'm delivering the great American comeback, and we're not having any lockdowns, okay? That I can tell you. There's no lockdown. Joining us today, your congressional candidate, Lisa McClain. Where's Lisa? I heard you're doing well. Do well. Are you cold enough? No, you're just fine. Thank you. Good luck. And Michigan GOP chairwoman who's doing a fantastic job, Laura Cox. Laura, how's it going, Laura? Good? We're going to win? I think so. I hear we're going to win. And Michigan GOP co-chair, Terry Bowman. Terry? Thank you. Thank you, Terry. Good job. We could have picked a little better day. For 47 years, Joe Biden viciously attacked African Americans. We know that. He shipped away your jobs, decimated the black middle class, and flooded your cities with foreign labor, gangs, and drugs. He opened and he openly called, and I think everyone knows this, he openly called young black men super predators. In 1994, the crime bill, he devastated black families in places like Philadelphia, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Detroit. I reversed that injustice with the landmark criminal justice reform. And nobody else, and I'll tell you, nobody else could have gotten it but me. We had a lot of help. Nobody else could have gotten it. Obama never even tried. Nobody tried. Biden said that if black Americans don't vote for him, you ain't black, which is a famous thing, but that's not nearly as bad as other things he did. So I have a message for every African American voter in Michigan and across America. Tuesday is your chance to show Joe, and you know that, right? Tuesday is our big deal as a country. Show Joe Biden and the Democrat Party what you think of their decades of betrayal and abuse. Tuesday is your chance to show Joe Biden what you think of his decision to mistreat, abuse, and wrongly imprison so many African Americans, and that's what he did. That crime bill was a disgrace. And you know, that's what's happening in Florida. So we're doing well with African Americans. We're doing very well, but a lot of them just aren't showing up because they don't want to vote for this guy. You know, typically they vote Democrat. It's changing a lot. It's changing really fast. And by the way, John James is a very good guy. I hope you're going to be voting for him. John James, a very good guy. And he's running against a guy nobody even knows who he is, Peters. I was there 3 years. I said, who's Peters? Oh, he's a senator. He's a senator from Michigan. Nobody knows who Peters is. He does nothing. He's a puppet for Schumer. No, you should vote John James. He's a great young guy. He's a great young man, West Point, a great military background, did well in business, and he wants to do this, and he's doing us a favor. I think he could be a star, and I hope Michigan goes for John James. To every black American, I'm asking you for your vote. I'm asking you to send a message to the corrupt Democrat establishment, and it is corrupt. We welcome you to the Republican Party. By the way, it happens to be the party of the late, great Abraham Lincoln, right? Can't do better than that. Under our Platinum Plan, you heard about that, we'll create 3 million new jobs for Black Americans, increase access to capital, and deliver school choice to every family. School choice. We invested $2.5 trillion in the U.S. military. We also passed VA choice and VA accountability, which is incredible for our great veterans. You know, we had a 91% approval factor rating the other day from the veterans, highest ever. We killed the leader of ISIS. You know who that is? al-Baghdadi. They've been looking for him for a long time. We took out the mass murder of U.S. troops and many other troops and many other people. Soleimani is dead also. I withdrew from the last administration's disastrous Iran nuclear deal. I recognized the capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. 52 years they worked on that. I got it done in 2 hours. And instead of endless war in the Middle East, peace is breaking out. We're signing countries are lined up. They're all lined up. We're signing them one by one. Biden will plunge America. What? Oh. That's very good. Let me see that. Good. Thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Biden will plunge America and the world into one ridiculous war after another. You know, he thinks he's a tough guy. Remember what he said a year ago? I'd like to take him behind the bar. You know what? Boom. I didn't even have to close. I just, ding, he's gone. He's a tough guy, right? With his sunglasses. His new deal is his sunglasses. His new deal are those sunglasses. He was very agitated, right? See him, yes? And then you'd have like two cars honk, honk, honk. We have more in the 10 feet of the front row than he had yesterday. And I hate to say it, Obama doesn't draw any better. They went as a twosome and they had less people. A vote for me and the Republican Party is a vote for the American dream. And in conclusion, over the next 4 years, we will make America. It's getting warmer now, do you notice? Let's stay here longer. I don't want to. I came here for the worst. Now it's getting good and I'm supposed to leave. I'm not leaving. Over the next 4 years, we will make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world, and we will end our reliance on China. That's already happening. We will hire more police, increase penalties for assault on law enforcement, and we will ban deadly sanctuary cities. We will defend the right to life, religious liberty, free speech, and the right to keep and bear arms. We will maintain America's unrivaled military might, and we will ensure peace through strength. We will end surprise medical billing, require price transparency. January 1st it starts. It's going to be incredible. Lower drug prices even more. We're going favored nations. You'll get them down 70, 80, and 90%. We go from the highest to the lowest in the world. Protect Social Security and Medicare, and we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. America will land the first woman on the moon, and the United States will be the first nation to land an astronaut on Mars. We will stop the radical indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education to our schools. We will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. And we will live by the timeless words of our national motto, "In God we trust." For years, you had a president who apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America and standing up for the great people of Michigan. You didn't see me leave, did you, huh? I'm lucky. You better get out there and vote. Thank you very much. I love you too. I do. 2 days from now, you have the power, with your vote, to save the American dream, to save our country from what could happen to it. You look at Venezuela, you look at so many other countries. 20 years ago, Venezuela was a strong country, it was one of the richest countries. Today, they have no water, they have no food, they have no medicine, they have nothing. This is the same ideology that you're seeing trying to come in. We can't let it happen. This country, and I've said it many times, will never be a socialist country. This will never be. But you have to go out and vote. On November 3rd, we must finish the job, drain the swamp. The swamp is deeper and stronger and more vicious than ever. But we've done a hell of a job, and they cannot believe that we're in this position when we're now leading. Look, we're leading in Florida. We're leading in Georgia. We're leading, forget Texas, we're leading. So how about Texas? You go to Texas, this guy says, yeah, we're against oil, right? We're against God, and we're against guns. We're going to take away your guns. So now we're in Texas. You can't have any more oil, no more oil wells. Let's take all the oil wells away. So no oil, no God, no guns. And then they say, it's a very close race in Texas. I don't think so. They did that 4 years ago, and I won in a landslide, right? They said, Texas is too close to call. The door's closed. Donald Trump has won Texas. What the hell happened? They said it with Utah. Remember they said the guy came in, he came his character, nobody ever heard of him. He was supposed to be great. And they kept talking about him, and then I won by, 22 points or something. In fact, crazy Hillary, crooked Hillary came in. Here we go, watch. Here we go. They always blame me, whatever that chance starts. All I do is I mention her name. I didn't do anything. Well, they say it with your governor. Every time I mention a name, they say the same thing. And they say, he is inciting. I'm inciting. On Tuesday, Michigan is going to make history once again. You made history. And by the way, so, I came here a lot, and we ended up winning, and it hadn't been won for many, many years by a Republican. Are you happy with your choice? All those plants that you have opened and opening, by the way, and you have plenty coming too, you wouldn't have any of them if I weren't your president, I can tell you that. And you have plenty more coming. For generations, America's destiny was made, forged and won in places like Midland, Mackinac, Lansing, and Grand Rapids. You know, Grand Rapids, that was where I made my last speech, right? I made my last speech. 32,000 people showed up at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I said, we're not losing. We had a crowd, you wouldn't believe it. 1 o'clock in the morning, it was now election day because it had gone over. 1 o'clock, 32,000 people, Grand Rapids, I'll never forget it. And I said, this doesn't feel like I'm coming in second place. And guess what? We didn't. Battle Creek and Macomb County. Our American ancestors gave their blood, sweat, and tears to defend our country and our freedom. We stand on the shoulders of American heroes who crossed the oceans, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, laid down the railroads, raised up the great skyscrapers, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and made America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world, and the best is yet to come. That's true. That's true. Proud citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people. With your help, your devotion, and your drive, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together with the incredible people of Michigan, we have made America powerful again. Our military is so powerful. We have made America wealthy again. Look at what's happening. 401ks are doing very well. We have made America strong again. We have made America proud again. We have made America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Michigan. Thank you. Look, I'm out here now.
All right, the president wrapping up at his first campaign stop of the day in Washington, Michigan, Macomb County. Now he'll head a little bit farther west to Dubuque, Iowa, where we have a crew standing by as the president does his signature dance there. He's got a few new moves, I see. We'll let you hear a little bit of this here in just a second, but I wanted to remind you, we're trying to do the impossible and go to every single Trump rally. We have never traveled this much before. We've got 9 of them left, 9 of them in 2 days, and so we appreciate all of you getting us here. We're grassroots. We are viewer-supported network we're actually beating mainstream media in views. We've been around since 2016. If you don't know about us, look into us. If you want to support us and support independent media, we would appreciate your support. We need it now more than ever. RSBnetwork.com/donate. RSBnetwork.com/donate helps us get to all the rallies. And if you think the rallies are going to be over after November 3rd, after the president wins re-election, well, remember the victory tour of 2016? That's what we're looking forward to. All right, back to the scene with Brian Glenn and Adrian Ferguson. See you in Dubuque in just a few moments.
So that wraps up the first of 5 rallies today for the president as he makes his way to November 3rd. Now off he goes to Iowa, North Carolina, Georgia, and then wraps it up in Miami, Florida later tonight. That's a little bit later start for the president, but very similar message we've heard from the president. A lot about the economy, a lot about COVID, the shutdown, a lot about getting business back open, getting the schools open, the churches open. Of course, he won the state back in 2016, but only about 10,000 votes total. So it's a very tight race here in Michigan. It's a must-win state for the president in Michigan. And today, obviously, despite the chilly temperatures and the wind chills that probably hover around 0, the crowd enjoyed it today. And I think this is just what the president needed to close out this state.
Absolutely. I just re-emphasize everything you just said. And wow, it is just so cold out here. And it is so telling about the president's support that people are willing to stay out here in almost 10-degree weather and take it with a smile. These people are dancing with the president. They were supporting him, and you know, they had a great time here today, and I know I did. And you know, my favorite part is when he dances to the YMCA with all of his fans and all of his audience, and it was a great event. I'm so glad that we were able to cover it.
Absolutely, and of course, the president's on to other key states and is making the election complete, because he said the fight has not stopped right now. We still got a few more days, a few more rallies to get the message across. Freedom, liberty is at stake here on November 3rd. Of course, socialism is knocking at the door. We've heard people say the president is the gatekeeper of freedom against what could potentially be a socialist country taking over our society as we know it.
Absolutely. The president definitely took a stand for American freedoms today, and he definitely opposes socialism and communism, which is basically proposed by the left. And he said that we will not take a stand for it, and we will not let it come into this country. So definitely support our president as he takes a stand for our freedoms, and also support our law enforcement and our military that also does those things for us.
Absolutely. And we also want to thank you, the viewer, because we are viewer supported, and of course your donations go a long way as we've got crews across this country going from literally coast to coast every time. I don't think we've missed a Trump rally yet, and we intend to make them all up into Election Day. So thank you very much. They can go to rsbnetwork.com/donate, rsbnetwork.com/donate to donate there, and you can also donate online as well. But we also have a partner for the day, iTarget Pro, and with Christmas coming up, I couldn't think of a better present for someone in your house that might be a 2A advocate or gun owner. What a great
are forced to fend for themselves because Democrats and the left are successfully defunding the police. When the government can or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only. Most of us don't have the time to consistently train, plus ammo is really expensive. That's why our Target Pro was invented. Using their proprietary app and laser bullet, you can now train safely in the convenience of your own home with your actual firearm. iTarget comes in all of the major calibers, including .223 and .556, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. Today you can get 10% off, plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days' practice. That's later iTargetPro.com, iTargetPro.com, offer code SAVE10.
There you go.
Yeah, you can see now we have a couple fans waving at us right now.
See if we can swing the camera back over there, Brad. Let's see if we can stay right there. We see this all day long. They come up to the platforms here wanting to cheer us on. And, of course, your donations go a long way in helping us come here and cover this. But we'll swing the camera around, give you a little bit of a shout out there. But, I would say despite the temperatures in the
people, they stood through it all because they love our country so much. They want to support our president who loves our country so much. And you know what? This weather is just one of the minor problems. We're facing huge threats to our country right now. And some bad weather is nothing to them. They support our country, and that's why they came out. And the weather, no worries.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think the message really resonated with the crowd here about getting back open. We were at a restaurant last night, and we were told that
All right, we're obviously having some issues with their signal there in Michigan, but we're going to move on to Dubuque, Iowa. If you're watching this on the Michigan stream, we're going to end it and move over to Dubuque. We'll be live in about 15 minutes or so from there, so make sure you're all there for that one. It is so cold. I just heard from the crew, and they are bundled up and wearing all kinds of hand warmers and all kinds of stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting and cold to see how many people show up. My guess is it'll be packed because the president always packs the house. And we're looking at 4 more of these things today. We'll be in, of course, Dubuque here. Then we are coming back east to Hickory, North Carolina, followed by Rome, Georgia, just down the road from here in Auburn. And then we close it out with a late night rally, 11:30 p.m. Eastern time in Miami. So everyone make sure, make plans to tune in all day long here at Right Side Broadcasting. All right, we'll be live back here in just a second over at Dubuque. We'll see you over there in a minute. Take care.